Chapter 573. The word Zhen was a declaration of war. On the stage, Yang Chuan stood straight like a javelin with the God Bestowment scroll in his hand. His robe fluttered in the wind as he stared at Mohina Jin with his eyes wide open. His arrogance soared to the heavens as he faced Mohina Jin without the slightest bit of fear. Instead, he even spoke words of defiance. "A virtuous Dharma idol wants to threaten Zhen?" This sentence was said lightly, but in the ears of the tens of thousands of cultivators, it was like a clap of thunder. This was Mohina Jin, one of the three great Tao lords of the Dazhao sacred ground. Everyone looked at Yang Chuan with a worried expression. Yi Feng looked at Yang Chuan and took a deep breath. He did not know what Yang Chuan was relying on, but he did not know why he trusted Yang Chuan so much. At the same time, the word Zhen was filled with a domineering aura. At this moment, the aura of an emperor burst out. Yi Feng took a deep breath as his eyes flashed with strong expectations. Mo Yushi looked at Yang Chuan in a daze. Spider King squinted his eyes as he looked at Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan gave him too many surprises. Meng Ziqiu looked at Yang Chuan with a complicated expression. He wanted to speak up for Yang Chuan, but Yang Chuan contradicted Mohina Jin. This made Meng Ziqiu speechless. In the radiant world. Is this Qi Jing kid crazy? Meng Lingtian frowned. My God, he dares to contradict Mohina Jin? Does he want to die? Dongfang Zhengpai was shocked. Meng Rongrong's face suddenly showed a trace of worry. She looked at the proud Yang Chuan in the image and frowned. She turned to look at Meng Lingtian and clenched her fists. There were a few times when she wanted to say something, but she held back. In the arena, Yang Chuan looked coldly at Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma form. A look of surprise also appeared on Dao Monarch Black Sun's face. He truly didn't expect that someone would dare to contradict him. And the person in front of him was only in the Qi state. An ant-like existence actually dared to talk back to him. Jiu Holy Sun was also stunned by Yang Chuan's rebuttal. Was this a joke? Was this kid crazy? Who is this? Yang Chuan, how dare you be so presumptuous in front of Mohina Jin? Jiu Holy Sun shouted. Yang Chuan held the Book of God's investiture in his hand and turned to look coldly at Jiu Holy Sun. You have no right to speak here. Yang Chuan said coldly. What did you say? Jiu Holy Sun glared at him. Get lost. Yang Chuan shouted. Jiu Holy Sun's face turned red. He was humiliated by Yang Chuan in front of all the practitioners. Now, his father was right in front of him. Yang Chuan dared to humiliate him? After Yang Chuan finished scolding, he looked at Mohina Jin. The Book of God's investiture belongs to me. Go back to where you came from. Yang Chuan said coldly. Go back to where you came from? Was this really something he said to Mohina Jin? Almost everyone thought that Yang Chuan was crazy. This was a provocation. This was a naked provocation to Mohina Jin. Presumptuous. Sure enough, Mohina Jin was angry and shouted coldly. Suddenly, the whole arena exploded. Everyone's heart trembled. A powerful aura suddenly pressed down on everyone. The first to bear the brunt of the pressure was the stage where Yang Chuan was standing. Boom. The stage was pressed down by 10 feet. However, the part of the stage where Yang Chuan was standing did not sink down. This was because a large amount of golden aura surrounded Yang Chuan. The surging aura enveloped Yang Chuan and blocked Mohina Jin's aura for Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan stood proudly in the aura. The aura of the Book of God's investiture surged out of his hand and protected Yang Chuan. Chapter 574. Roar tilde. The golden dragon of providence in the God bestowment strategy suddenly roared and rushed out. It circled around Yang Chuan with its head facing the sky and its eyes glaring at Mohina Jin. Yang Chuan stood motionless and suddenly closed his eyes. The golden dragon's pupils shrank, and its eyes suddenly became lively. If one were to look closely, they would realize that the golden dragon's eyes were exactly the same as Yang Chuan's eyes. It was as if Yang Chuan had possessed it. Suddenly, a vast aura gushed out. The golden dragon of providence twisted its powerful body. Roar tilde. The golden dragon let out a roar, and a powerful aura instantly rushed out in all directions. A vast majestic aura surged out, and it wasn't any weaker than Downlord Rage's aura. The golden dragon roared, and its head was ferocious as it slowly flew into the air. It swung its tail, and its body floated in the air. Its dragon whiskers swayed slightly, and its eyes were incomparably arrogant. It stared at Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma idol with a ferocious expression. I said, "Go back to where you came from," the golden dragon suddenly said. "Ah, a dragon." The dragon spoke. The golden dragon spoke. That's the golden dragon of Providence. How can it speak? Countless cultivators in the surroundings were shocked. Not only the cultivators, but the virtuous paragons of the Julu Academy were also shocked. How is this possible? How is this possible? Meng Zichio exclaimed. Academy Master, what's going on? How can the golden dragon of Providence be possessed? Yes, Academy Master. Why didn't we know? Isn't the golden dragon of Providence just a symbol? Academy Master, how can the golden dragon of Providence be like this? Our Julu Academy has had the golden dragon of Providence for tens of thousands of years, but no one has ever been able to command it. Why can the golden dragon of Providence turn into a clone in Yang Chuan's hands? Academy Master, what's going on? The virtuous paragons were all shocked. The golden dragon of Providence had a powerful aura. Previously, no one could command it. But in Yang Chuan's hands, Yang Chuan, the golden dragon of Providence could turn into a clone. What was going on? Meng Zichio's expression was extremely complicated. He shook his head and said, I don't know. Meng Zichio in the light world, Meng Lingtian also looked at this scene in astonishment. Could it be that the legend is true? Possession of the dragon of Providence. Possessed. Yang Chuan is going to defy the heavens, is this true? Dongfang Zhengpai exclaimed. Meng Rongrong looked at the huge golden dragon of Providence. Although she was also shocked, she was more relieved. Yi Feng looked at the golden dragon of Providence and exhaled. His previous worry disappeared. Mo Yushi and Spider King looked at the remaining 4 golden dragons of Providence of the Julu Academy with a strange expression. Those 4 golden dragons of Providence couldn't be compared to the golden dragon of Providence possessed by Yang Chuan. The difference was too great. Yang Chuan's golden dragon of Providence seemed to have come alive in an instant. It was full of dominance and arrogance. It glared at Mohina Jin and released a powerful aura. The huge golden dragon stretched out its claws and glared fiercely. Impossible, the golden dragon of Providence. Isn't it a vassal of the Sea of Providence? How can it be possessed? Jiyu Holy Sun exclaimed. However, the golden dragon of Providence's aura was real. It rushed straight to the other side, increasing the pressure on Jiyu Holy Sun. Chapter 575. Of course, the golden dragon's biggest target was Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma idol. The golden dragon of Providence and the virtuous Dharma idol, 2 pure and ethereal energies, emitted majestic auras as they targeted each other. Rumble. Providence and virtuous Dharma idol collided with each other, causing the void to tremble. Mohina Jin also looked at the golden dragon of Providence in front of him in surprise. Originally, Mohina Jin wanted the God Bestowment Stratagem and Tian Ce to have other uses, but now he discovered that the God Bestowment Stratagem was actually so miraculous. For a moment, Mohina Jin didn't want to leave, but to obtain the God Bestowment Stratagem. Ha 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 ha, God Bestowment Stratagem and Golden Dragon of Providence. What a pleasant surprise. Ant, I'll give you one more chance. Hand over the God Bestowment Stratagem, Mohina Jin coldly said. In mid-air, the Golden Dragon of Providence angrily glared at Mohina Jin. When it heard Mohina Jin's words, the corner of its mouth revealed a trace of a sneer. The Golden Dragon of Providence smiled. This made the virtuous paragons of the Julu Academy feel ashamed. Why haven't I seen the Golden Dragon of Providence smile before? How was it possible that Yang Chuan was able to unleash it so brilliantly? If you want the God Bestowment Stratagem, then show me your ability. Otherwise, go back to where you came from. Yang Chuan's Golden Dragon of Providence suddenly shouted coldly. Ha, reckless brat. You dare to provoke this lord after obtaining the god bestowment stratagem? Die for me. Mohina Jin coldly shouted. While speaking, Mohina Jin flipped his hand and slapped down. A huge handprint suddenly appeared. Rumble. His entire head seemed to be covered by that handprint. It was a huge flaming handprint that blotted out the sky. The flames were incomparably hot. Even from a long distance away, they could feel the violent heat. The golden palm pressed down on the golden dragon of providence as if it wanted to capture the golden dragon of providence. Virtuous giant palm? Ha ha ha, that's all there is to it. The golden dragon of destiny suddenly burst into laughter. Ang tilde. Facing the fiery virtuous giant palm, the golden dragon of providence suddenly roared into the sky. The roar was so powerful that the void trembled. Dragon's roar and tiger's roar were the strongest sound arts in the world. The golden dragon of fortune let out a roar, and a powerful shockwave swept towards the sky. Rumble. Julu Academy's Sea of Providence also began to churn. The roar of Yang Chuan's golden dragon of providence rushed toward the virtuous giant palm. Rumble. When the big handprint pressed down, it seemed to have encountered a huge resistance in midair. It suddenly slowed down, and its whole body trembled. Rumble. The trembling became more and more intense. Bam! With a loud explosion, Mohina Jin's powerful virtuous giant palm was blown apart by Yang Chuan's roar. Boom! Flames spread in all directions, burning the sky of Julu City. Countless clouds in the sky instantly evaporated, and the sky was filled with a sea of fire. But in the end, the virtuous giant palm collapsed. It was destroyed by Yang Chuan's roar. The first confrontation between Mohina Jin and Yang Chuan ended with Mohina Jin's defeat. The golden dragon floated up again. Its eyes were ferocious as it stared coldly at Mohina Jin opposite it. A ferocious aura surged out. The surrounding cultivators seemed to have lost their voices at the same time. All of them stared at the sky in disbelief. Meng Ziqiu, Yu Yi, and the others were even more confused. The golden dragon of providence is actually so powerful. Why didn't I know about it? Meng Ziqiu was confused. In the past, there were 5 golden dragons of providence, but no one had ever been able to make them unleash their combat power. Yang Chuan did it. How did he do it? That was Mohina Jin's palm, but it was destroyed by Yang Chuan's roar. Mohina Jin was an expert in the upper void realm. The upper void realm. The shocking scene made the surrounding cultivators look confused. At this moment, Yang Chuan had overturned everyone's understanding. Completely overturned. Chapter 576. Mohina Jin's great palm print was shattered by the golden dragon's roar. In an instant, the square was completely silent. Mohina Jin was an upper emptiness realm cultivator who was only a step away from becoming an immortal. However, Yang Chuan was only in the Qi state. In the mortal world, the Qi state was a formidable power. However, in front of Mohina Jin, he was just an ant. However, the golden dragon in front of them was able to block the attack of a quasi-immortal. Even if it was just a casual move, even if it was just a virtuous Dharma idol, it should not be. All the cultivators held their breaths as they watched this unbelievable scene. The golden dragon looked at the virtuous Dharma idol in front of it. The investiture of the gods is mine. It is the will of the heavens. Are you going against the will of the heavens? Yang Chuan shouted coldly. Ha 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 ha, the golden dragon of providence. You're actually like my virtuous Dharma idol. You've really taught everyone in the world a lesson. Unfortunately, no one can get what I want, Tao Monarch Morning Sun said in a gloomy tone. He waved his hand and a bell appeared in his palm. The bell was not a physical object. It seemed to be formed by the power of virtue. Even so, it was still a treasure refined by an upper emptiness realm cultivator. Naturally, it was powerful. Ding-ling-ling. The bell shook and a white light wave appeared in the void. It rushed toward the golden dragon of providence. You want to disperse me? Ha! The golden dragon of providence laughed coldly. Sheeing. On Yang Chuan's back, the Jade Emperor's sword suddenly shot up into the sky. As soon as the Jade Emperor's sword appeared, a dark evil aura rushed toward the opposite side. A huge sword energy suddenly burst out and went straight for the bell in Mohina Jin's hand. Boom! A loud sound rang out as the sound of the bell and the sword energy collided with each other. The two forces were in a deadlock for a moment. Buzz! In the void, the two magic treasures stuck together. The golden dragon of destiny and the virtuous Dharma idol were activated at the same time. The vast power collided with each other, and in the sky, a hurricane was formed. The golden dragon of destiny? Mohina Jin's voice was filled with determination. The golden dragon of providence suddenly revealed a ferocious expression as it said, "The closer you are to the Holy Land, the stronger you are. You are already millions of miles away from the Dazhao Holy Land, so your power must be much weaker. If you retreat now, I can pretend that I didn't see you. Otherwise, I will make your providence scatter and your Dharma shatter." Countless cultivators below had already turned to stone with their mouths agape. What did I hear? Are you kidding? Yang Chuan is threatening Mohina Jin? It's true. Yang Chuan is threatening Mohina Jin. He's crazy. He's really crazy. Countless voices of disbelief came from all around. The upper void stage was just a step away from Immortal Li. Yang Chuan, a chi state cultivator, was threatening an upper void stage cultivator. At this point in the Heavenly Bestowment Conference, the word shocking could no longer be used to describe it. It was too crazy. What did I just see? Some were worried, some were excited, and some were disdainful. There were all kinds of emotions around. However, the Jade Emperor's sword really restrained Mohina Jin's spell. Beside Mohina Jin, Jiyu Holy Sun's eyelids twitched. At the same time, there was jealousy in his eyes. The investiture of the gods. He has the investiture of the gods, and he can fight against Father. Why is Yang Chuan so lucky to have the Jade Emperor's sword and the investiture of the gods? Why don't I have any magic treasures? Stop, Father. After Jiyu Holy Sun's jealousy, he also realized how terrifying Yang Chuan was. His speed of growth was too terrifying. Chapter 577. Lowering his head, Jiyu Holy Sun saw Yang Chuan's body surrounded by a large amount of fate energy. Yang Chuan's body had his eyes closed as if he was controlling the huge golden dragon of fate energy. Jiyu Holy Sun squinted his eyes. Body. As long as I destroy your body, you will die no matter how strong you are. Jiyu Holy Sun's eyes were filled with hatred. He did as he said. He turned into a shooting star and shot towards Yang Chuan. Swoosh. He held a long sword in his hand as if he wanted to kill Yang Chuan in an instant. Yang Chuan, who was controlling the golden dragon of fate energy, naturally saw Jiyu Holy Sun's actions and saw through his intentions. Anger flashed in his eyes. Roar tilde 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 tilde. As it roared, the golden dragon of fate energy shone brightly. It was ferocious and extremely powerful. Boom. The Jade Emperor's sword's power increased tremendously. The air shook violently as a huge explosion sounded in the entire Julu city. Boom. Mohina Jin's bell exploded and the Jade Emperor's sword was thrown back. The dragon twisted its body and swung its tail fiercely towards the ancient moon Holy Sun. Ah! When the ancient moon Saint Child saw the dragon tail swinging towards him, his face instantly changed and he screamed. Boom. Under the huge impact, Jiyu Holy Sun was sent flying. A huge wind blew in the air. Fart. In midair, Jiyu Holy Sun spat out a mouthful of blood. Holy Sun. Chang San immediately rushed forward to support him. However, the huge force was too strong. The moment Chang San supported Jiyu Holy Sun, part of the huge force went into Chang San's body. Fart. Chang San spat out a mouthful of blood. The two of them flew backwards for several li before slowly coming to a halt. At that moment, their eyes were filled with shock. The power of the God sealing strategy? This is the power of the God bestowment strategy, Jiyu Holy Sun exclaimed. Of course, what Jiyu Holy Sun didn't know was that this wasn't the power of the God bestowment strategy, but the power of destiny. The majestic destiny was controlled by Yang Chuan, and as a monarch, he could unleash a vast amount of power. Impudent! The golden dragon of destiny bellowed. It wasn't clear if he was scolding Jiuyu Holy Sun for overestimating himself or if he was scolding Mohina Jin for being shameless, or he could scold both of them with a single sentence. Shiying. The Jade Emperor's sword suddenly flew towards Yang Chuan's main body. Pausing in midair, it suddenly transformed, from 1 to 10, and from 10 to 100. In the blink of an eye, thousands of Jade Emperor's swords appeared around the origin battle arena. Bang! The thousands of Jade Emperor's swords suddenly released a vast amount of sword chi that swept across the entire battle arena. In the blink of an eye, Yang Chuan was surrounded by billions of sword chi. Jade Emperor's sword formation? Jiuyu Holy Sun recognized it from afar. The Jade Emperor's sword formation was protecting Yang Chuan's main body. The Golden Dragon of Destiny pounced towards Mohina Jin with bared fangs and brandished claws. Roar tilde 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 tilde. A loud dragon roar rushed over, and Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma power was instantly enraged. Evil creature, how dare you? Mohina Jin roared. Boom. Suddenly, Mohina Jin seemed to have transformed into the sun. A terrifying fire swept towards the Golden Dragon of Destiny like a sea of fire spewing out. Boom. In an instant, the Golden Dragon of Destiny was drowned in the sea of fire. Roar. In the sea of fire, the Golden Dragon of Destiny kept roaring. Evil creature, how dare you humiliate me? Today, I'll destroy your body and soul. Mohina Jin roared in the void. Chapter 578. Boom. The fire suddenly soared into the sky. Mohina Jin continuously poured the sun's fire into the sea of fire. Within the sea of fire, the Golden Dragon of Providence forcefully twisted its huge body. You want to destroy my body and soul? Ha ha ha, Mohina Jin, your current virtuous Dharma idol is far from enough. You are too far away from the great Jiao sacred ground. You can't even use 1/100th of your strength. You want to destroy my body and soul? Yang Chuan laughed sinisterly within the fire. Boom. The sea of fire exploded. Roar. The Golden Dragon of Providence's head suddenly stretched out a huge sea of fire. With a tyrannical force, it broke through the sea of fire and roared furiously as it charged towards Mohina Jin. Boom. The virtuous Dharma idol and the Golden Dragon of Providence collided. To be precise, the Golden Dragon of Providence's claws grabbed Mohina Jin's body. Boom. 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 The two experts tangled with each other, each releasing a huge amount of strength. Evil creature, how dare you? Mohina Jin's furious roar came from the sky. A virtuous Dharma idol of less than 1/100th. Ha 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 ha, Mohina Jin? I am not an ant that you can knead. If you dare to destroy my body and soul, I will destroy your virtuous Dharma idol and destroy your virtuous Dharma idol, Yang Chuan said viciously. Roar. The dragon head roared at Mohina Jin. Its dragon claws released a ferocious force as it tore fiercely. Rumble. While all the cultivators were petrified, the savage dragon claws tore apart Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma idol. The powerful virtuous Dharma idol was torn apart by the Golden Dragon of Providence in front of everyone. Tear him apart. Mohina Jin roared angrily, evil creature, bastard, I will tear you to pieces, I will make sure you never reincarnate. Ang tilde. Boom. Mohina Jin was torn in half by the Golden Dragon of Luck in front of all the cultivators in the world. Torn to shred. The two halves of the virtuous Dharma idol suddenly collapsed, turning into scattered virtuous Dharma idols. Boom. The dismembered corpse turned into chi of merit and slowly dissipated into the void. High up in the sky, Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma idol disappeared, leaving only one thing in the air. The ferocious Golden Dragon of Destiny, the roaring Golden Dragon of Destiny. This was the karmic Dharma idol of a powerful Tao Lord. He had been torn apart. Tao Lord Mantis had been torn apart by an unknown Chi realm cultivator in front of everyone in the world. Torn apart. This savage tear not only tore apart Mohina Jin's virtuous Dharma idol, but it also tore apart the hearts of all the cultivators. The entire Providence Square was filled with petrified cultivators, their eyeballs dropping to the ground. Even Jiuyu Holy Sun was completely petrified when he saw his father being torn apart. This is impossible, this should not happen, this does not exist. The virtuous Dharma idol dissipated, and the golden dragon of destiny suddenly roared to the sky. Ang tilde. The dragon's roar filled the sky, spreading throughout Julu City and into the ears of countless cultivators. It was as if it was announcing the birth of a new expert. At this moment, Mo Yushi and Yi Feng were indescribably excited. They clenched their fists tightly, as if the one roaring in the sky was not Yang Chuan, but themselves. They were very excited and trembling. It was as if their souls were trembling. Chapter 579. The Golden Dragon of Providence, Tearing the Sun Apart? In the Light World. At this moment, in front of the Light Palace, everyone was shocked. Oh my God, Yang Chuan has really defied the heavens. That's Mohina Jin, that's Mohina Jin, Dongfang Zhengpai exclaimed. Not only Dongfang Zhengpai, even Meng Rongrong was covering her mouth, afraid that she would scream. What had just happened? The scene of Dowlord being torn apart was simply too explosive and too ferocious. Dowlord was one of the most powerful figures in the entire universe, and this violent tearing had caused everyone's blood to begin to boil. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yet, it was happening right in front of his eyes. Yang Chuan's domineering and barbaric nature was vividly displayed by that forceful tear. Meng Rongrong's breathing became hurried when she saw this scene. After taking a few deep breaths to calm down, Meng Rongrong looked at Yang Chuan again with a complicated look in her eyes. The other three who had entered with him were also astonished. Only Meng Lingtian squinted his eyes. It seems that the legend is true. Someone did it. Someone actually did it. Meng Lingtian muttered to himself. Heaven's Gift Square. Ang tilde. The golden dragon of providence that Yang Chuan possessed raised its head and roared. Its body danced in the air, exuding a boundless domineering aura. In the Heaven's Gift Square, some people gradually recovered from their shock. Meng Zichio and the others' faces twitched violently. Mohina Jin. He tore apart Mohina Jin. A Chi realm cultivator tore apart an upper ethereal realm cultivator? Am I crazy, or is the world crazy? I've gone mad. The sounds of discussion began to ring out. Voices of excitement and madness could be heard from all directions. From the beginning of the Heavenly Bestowment Conference until now, it had already exceeded everyone's expectations. After today's battle, Yang Chuan's name would definitely resound throughout the East, and even the world. What a shocking scene. In the previous tournament, the Blood Demon had appeared and fought in all directions. This year's competition was simply indescribable. Starting from the sovereign personage, they had been challenging the cultivator's nerves. Roar. After the dragon roar ended, the golden dragon of providence suddenly twisted its body and swooped down. Whirlwinds rose around the golden dragon. The dragon's head was lofty, and it instantly appeared in front of the five figures. Jiu Holy Sun, Chang San, Qin King, Chess King, Book King, whoosh. A strong wind blew, and the dragon head stopped in front of Jiu Holy Sun. Jiu Holy Sun clutched his chest as blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. His eyelids twitched violently. Jiu Holy Sun was deeply affected by today's events, so much so that Jiu Holy Sun couldn't accept it. His father, who had always been high and mighty and invincible, had actually been torn apart by an ant like Yang Chuan. Although it was only a virtuous Dharma idol, it was still his father's body. How could it be torn apart in front of everyone? It was torn apart. This scene completely overturned Jiu Holy Sun's understanding. It was too terrifying and too impossible. The dragon head instantly appeared in front of Jiu Holy Sun, and a vicious aura surged toward Jiu. Step. Jiu subconsciously took a step back. Although it was only a subconscious step, it revealed Jiu Holy Sun's inner fear. It was an instinctive fear. It was different from when the Jade Emperor retreated from the sword array. Although he was not as strong as the Jade Emperor, he was unwilling to admit defeat. His willpower was still strong, but this time, his willpower was being forced back by Yang Chuan. His heart was giving in. If Yang Chuan did not die, he would forever be Jiu Holy Sun's inner demon, and it would be difficult for him to improve his cultivation. Chapter 580. Jiu Holy Sun realized that he had lost his composure. He calmed himself down and asked, What are you trying to do? The dragon stared at Guu and said, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. A chi state cultivator is telling me that he won't kill me. Is he pitying me?" The ancient Yu Saint child's face was filled with shame and anger, but he still held it in and did not say anything. "Go back and tell Mohina Jin not to mess with me. He can't afford to mess with me," Yang Chuan said coldly. "He can't afford to mess with you?" Before Guu Holy Sun could say anything, the surrounding cultivators were stunned. What did Yang Chuan just say? Mohina Jin can't afford to mess with you? Are you crazy? What you tore apart was just the virtuous Dharma idol. How strong is Mohina Jin? Are you going to hide in the golden dragon forever? Ha ha ha. Guu Holy Sun was so angry that he started laughing. The golden dragon squinted its eyes. What a joke. Yang Chuan, my father can't afford to mess with you. What a joke. Let me tell you, you destroyed my father's virtuous Dharma idol in front of everyone today. Just you wait, my father will tear you into pieces. My father said that you will never be able to reincarnate, so he will definitely make sure that you will never be able to reincarnate. Just wait for your death, just wait for your death. Ancient Moon Holy Sun immediately shouted. Roar. The golden dragon suddenly let out another dragon roar. The vast sound wave made the crazy ancient Yu Saint child suddenly quiver, and he immediately stopped talking. If you want to make a scene, go back and make a scene. Just tell them what I said. If you talk too much and annoy me, I will tear you apart. The golden dragon said fiercely. Guu Holy Sun's face darkened. He had never been threatened like this before. A chi state cultivator was threatening him and he didn't even dare to fart. What a humiliation, but at this moment, he could only endure. The golden dragon of destiny glared fiercely at Guu. Right at that moment, a thunderous roar reverberated throughout Julu City. You're someone I can't afford to offend? An angry voice with terrifying might came from the north. Every word seemed to be much louder. Clearly, the person who spoke was rushing over at an astonishing speed. Under that terrifying speed, when the last word of rise was heard, the sky was filled with huge explosions. Rumble. Amidst a series of loud booms, a powerful aura pressed down on the entire Julu City. Buzz. In an instant, everyone in Julu City felt a great threat. It was as if the heavens were descending. The powerful pressure seemed to be pressing down on countless cultivators until they could not stand up straight. They could only bend their bodies and try to resist. However, this aura was too powerful and too violent. The Heaven's Gift Square was the first to bear the brunt. Ka. A large number of Shouja could not stand it any longer and knelt down. Under this powerful aura, they were forced to kneel down. Many of the Shouja were humiliated, but more of them were terrified. This aura was too ferocious. It was so ferocious that they could not even think of resisting. The huge pressure was directed at the Golden Dragon of Destiny. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The Golden Dragon of Destiny trembled violently as if it was about to be crushed by this aura. Roar. The Golden Dragon roared and exploded with thousands of rays of golden light. Only then did it manage to resist this aura. A figure in a daoist robe floated above the Heaven's Gift Square. The powerful aura was emitted from his body. Just his aura alone was enough to put the Golden Dragon of Destiny in a difficult position. The figure floating in the air was wearing a golden daoist robe. He had a daoist hairstyle and a sun-shaped mark in between his eyebrows. His eyes were cold as he looked at the Golden Dragon of Destiny coldly. Chapter 581. He floated in the air as if all the people in the world were beneath his feet. The great pressure pressed down on the entire Julu City. Father, Father, you're here so soon? Guu Holy Sun shouted excitedly. Father! In the square, the faces of the cultivators who were not forced to kneel down changed. Guu Holy Sun could only have one father, Mohina Jin. There was no golden light, only the aura. This was not the virtuous Dharma idol, but Mohina Jin's real body. His real body is here. So soon. Meng Zichio and the others' faces changed. Even a Dao Lord would not be able to arrive so soon. There was only one possibility. Mohina Jin was not far from here. Mohina Jin was here. Within that vast aura, there was a great amount of anger. The virtuous Dharma idol was destroyed. This was not only a slight decrease in power, but also a challenge to his dignity. No, it was trampled on. Yang Chuan had just trampled on Mohina Jin's dignity. Whoosh! Almost instantly, everyone's eyes gathered on Yang Chuan and the Golden Dragon of Providence. Oh no, what should we do now? Mo Yushi's face changed. In the world of light. Mohina Jin. Damn, why is he here? So soon. Yang Chuan is in trouble. He's really in trouble. Dongfang Zhengpai said worriedly. Meng Rongrong also frowned. Teacher. Meng Rongrong finally could not help but look at Meng Lingtian. Meng Lingtian did not say anything. Instead, he looked at the Golden Dragon of Providence. Not changing in the face of danger. This Yang Chuan is impressive. He's already at the end of his rope, but his expression did not change. Meng Lingtian exclaimed. When Meng Lingtian said that, everyone looked at the Golden Dragon of Providence. Indeed, although the Golden Dragon of Providence was trembling under Mohina Jin's aura, its eyes were still domineering and fierce. How can this be? Everyone was shocked. On the Heaven's Gift Square, Downlord Black Sun stared coldly at the Golden Dragon of Destiny. The Golden Dragon of Destiny stared coldly at Downlord Black Sunday Roar. With a dragon roar, the Golden Dragon of Luck suddenly swayed its body and charged toward Yang Chuan. Rumble. The countless sword chi that surrounded Yang Chuan's body suddenly exploded. In the blink of an eye, only the Jade Emperor's sword was left. The Jade Emperor's sword formation. Roar. The Golden Dragon of Destiny roared and shot straight toward the God Investiture scroll. Boom. As the Golden Dragon of Providence charged into the God Bestowment strategy, Yang Chuan's body suddenly opened its eyes. Mohina Jin looked coldly at Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan opened his eyes and looked coldly at Mohina Jin. HMPH, Golden Dragon of Providence. Yang Chuan, I said that I would tear you into pieces and make sure you never reincarnate. I'll definitely honor my words, Downlord Blacksun said in a frosty tone. As he spoke, the surrounding void seemed to have been frozen by the cold air. Large amounts of frost and snow suddenly fell. Yang Chuan, who was waiting to beg for mercy, did not appear. Yang Chuan looked coldly at Mohina Jin and sneered. Did you hear what this emperor said earlier? Yang Chuan asked coldly. Oh. Mohina Jin looked at Yang Chuan in surprise. Is this person crazy? Even though I am here, he dares to speak nonsense. Go back to where you came from. Don't try to provoke this emperor. Yang Chuan threatened coldly with a glare. Don't try to provoke this emperor. Countless cultivators in the plaza turned to stone again, including Gu Holy Sun. He opened his mouth and looked at Yang Chuan like a fool. What did I hear? Did I go crazy again? Or did this world go crazy again? He is threatening Mohina Jin? It looks like I went crazy again. The surrounding cultivators looked at Yang Chuan in shock. Chapter 582. Heaven's Gift Plaza. Countless practitioners stared at Yang Chuan in a daze. Their expressions were as blank as they could be. If they did not experience the previous scene, they would definitely think that Yang Chuan was crazy, absolutely crazy. However, from the beginning of the Wen duel until now, Yang Chuan had built confidence in the hearts of countless practitioners, giving them a feeling of trust. However, Mohina Jin was too strong, only one step away from becoming an immortal. This was not the virtuous Dharma idol, this was the real body. The real body had come personally. Could Yang Chuan still do it? Could he still hold on? Looking at Yang Chuan's robe fluttering in the wind, countless practitioners were speechless. They did not believe it, but they were also looking forward to it. Go back to where you came from. Don't try to provoke me. Yang Chuan's words resounded throughout the entire Heaven's Gift Plaza, and even reached Mohina Jin's ears. Mohina Jin's eyes were cold. Today, his dignity was being challenged again and again. Where did this brat come from? How dare he be so arrogant? Mohina Jin's eyes were cold. You're courting death. Mohina Jin roared. Boom. Once again, he stretched out his palm and slapped towards Yang Chuan. This time, it was still a huge palm print. This time, the palm print was many times stronger than the one from the virtuous Dharma idol. The surrounding space seemed to be distorted. As the palm pressed down, golden light shot out in all directions, as if a sun was falling. The intense light caused more than half of the practitioners to be unable to open their eyes. Boom! Before the palm pressed down, the Heaven's Gift Plaza suddenly sank. Just the powerful aura alone caused the ground to sink by more than 10 feet. Countless practitioners staggered and fell, looking at the golden palm pressing towards Yang Chuan in horror. Before the palm arrived, the golden light had already illuminated Yang Chuan to an extremely dazzling degree. In the face of this palm, Yang Chuan did not show any signs of fear. Instead, his eyes were filled with ferocity. He stood with his hands behind his back, and the golden dragon of destiny circled around him to resist this aura. Buzz! The Jade King's sword was on Yang Chuan's back. It was like it wanted to rush forward, but Yang Chuan suppressed it. He looked coldly at Mohina Jin's palm that was filled with immense power. It seemed that Yang Chuan was about to be buried under the golden palm. Jiu Holy Sun sneered. Meng Ziqiu and the others tried to stop him, but it was too late. No! Mo Yu, she screamed. The golden light had already illuminated Yang Chuan. In the blink of an eye, the palm print was right in front of him. In just an instant, Yang Chuan would be completely vaporized by this palm print. At this moment, looking at the golden palm print, Yang Chuan's ferocious face suddenly revealed a rare smile. Whoosh! In an instant, the entire Heaven's Gift Plaza was filled with raging winds. Suddenly, a white fist appeared beside Yang Chuan. The white fist was constantly growing in size. Raging winds blew around the fist and swept across the entire Heaven's Gift Plaza, and even the entire Julu city. The white fist met the golden palm and collided with it with a loud bang. Hong tilde 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 tilde. The loud explosion caused countless practitioners to bleed from their ears. The ground shook, and countless practitioners who just got up fell down again. Julu Mountain began to shake from the loud noise. The entire Julu city seemed to be shaking as well. Rumble. In an instant, Julu city shook, and countless practitioners staggered. The golden light illuminated the entire city, and the wind blew in all directions. Chapter 583. My ears. Ah. My house is collapsing. Ah. Julu Mountain is collapsing. In Julu city, countless cultivators screamed in fear. Many cultivators in the Heaven's Gift Square fell to the ground. The earthquake in Julu city only calmed down after 10 breaths of time. In the Heaven's Gift Square, the white fist and the golden palm collided. After a strong shockwave, the collision dissipated. Ouch! My ears can't hear. PFFF. I'm severely injured. In the Heaven's Gift Square, many cultivators fell to the ground and groaned in pain. Of course, most of them were staring at Yang Chuan. Mo Yu, she was the most anxious. She stabilized herself and looked over. Yang Chuan was still standing there. Facing the strong collision, Yang Chuan's eyelids did not even twitch. He was still looking coldly at Mohina Jin. Mohina Jin also frowned and looked down. At this moment, another white-robed figure appeared beside Yang Chuan. The white-robed figure's fist was glowing with white light. His eyes were wide open, and cold light shot out. He was looking at Mohina Jin in the sky. He was the one who threw the punch just now. He was the one who blocked Mohina Jin for Yang Chuan. Bai Ditian. Meng Ziqiu shouted from not far away. Beside Yang Chuan was the king of the tiger race, Bai Ditian. Who is he? He was the one who helped Yang Chuan block Mohina Jin's palm? What a powerful punch. Is he also in the upper emptiness realm? That is Mohina Jin's original body. Everyone was shocked as they looked at Bai Ditian, who was beside Yang Chuan, in shock. Spider King smiled bitterly. At this moment, Spider King finally understood what kind of person he had offended. At that time, he had wanted to capture him. Mo Yu Shi's expression softened. Yi Feng heaved a sigh of relief. There was also a white kitten on Bai Ditian's shoulder. Meow, Yang Chuan, I've called Old White for you. Amazing, right? Meow immediately jumped onto Yang Chuan's shoulder and said proudly. Who? On the other side, Qing Long and Bai Long flew in from outside the Heaven's Gift Plaza, towards Mo Yushi. Saintess, I won't let you down, Qing Long said with a smile. Evidently, before the Heaven's Bestowment Conference, Yang Chuan had instructed Qing Long to bring Miao to invite Bai Ditian. Mo Yushi nodded, but she was more concerned about Yang Chuan. Bai Ditian sent Mohina Jin flying with a single punch. The two peerless masters stared at each other. Who are you? Mohina Jin asked coldly. Bai Ditian's punch really surprised Mohina Jin. One had to know that although he had not used his full strength, he had used 70% of his strength. But it had still been scattered by the other party. Yang Chuan's backer? He was Yang Chuan's backer. A mere Qi state cultivator had the backing of an upper void stage master. Dao Lord Fury Sun was bewildered for a moment. Day attendant, you don't even recognize me? Bai Ditian said coldly. Day attendant. Mohina Jin suddenly narrowed his eyes. There were not many people in the world who knew and dared to call him a day attendant. No, as the Dazhao sacred ground grew stronger, no one dared to call him a day attendant. Those who called him day attendants were all famous heroes from thousands of years ago. Day attendant. He knows me. Mohina Jin looked at Bai Ditian again and looked at him carefully. He frowned slightly, unable to recall who he was. A breeze blew around Bai Ditian, as if he had become one with the wind. Chapter 584. Wind. Wind follows the tiger. 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 A figure suddenly flashed across his mind. That figure matched the one in front of him. Bai Ditian. Mohina Jin's expression changed. The formidable martial artist that he looked up to 8,000 years ago. Bai Ditian looked coldly at Mohina Jin and did not say anything. It was obvious that he agreed with Mohina Jin's guess. Aren't you dead? Mohina Jin asked in a low voice. He looked up to Bai Ditian in the past. Now that he had reached the upper void realm, there was no need for him to look up to Bai Ditian anymore. But why did the dead Bai Ditian appear again? Life is unpredictable. I'm alive now. You can leave. Send my regards to Jingting, Bai Ditian said plainly. Mohina Jin looked at Bai Ditian in shock. He wanted to attack Bai Ditian to break his past impression of Bai Ditian and to correct himself. However, Bai Ditian was too powerful back then. He was even a formidable martial artist that Sacred Lord Jingting wanted to recruit. For a moment, Mohina Jin fell silent. While Dao Lord Morning Sun was bewildered, he looked at Yang Chuan again. When he saw Yang Chuan's faint smile, his expression darkened. Bai Ditian, did you come out to protect Yang Chuan? Mohina Jin asked again. At this moment, Mohina Jin was no longer just looking down on Yang Chuan. Bai Ditian was just like Jingting, whom he had followed back then. Although Jingting's cultivation level was not high back then, Jingting's prowess had already been established. Yes, Bai Ditian said. Mohina Jin's expression changed. He looked at Yang Chuan again. Why? Back then, I tried to recruit you, but you rejected me. Now, you want to protect Yang Chuan? Mohina Jin said coldly. It's none of your business. Bai Ditian said coldly. Miao, Yang Chuan saved little Bai of old Bai's family. Did you save him? Miao suddenly shouted to the sky. Huh! Mohina Jin raised his eyebrows. Little Bai of the old Bai family? Laro Bai was Bai Ditian, but who was Little Bai? Although he didn't know who Little White was, Mohina Jin could sense that Little White was someone very important to Bai Ditian. Did Yang Chuan receive Bai Ditian's protection because he saved someone important to Bai Ditian? After coming to this conclusion, Mohina Jin let out a long sigh of relief. Everything made sense now. He looked coldly at Yang Chuan. What a lucky brat. Bai Ditian's appearance didn't just mean that he had met a formidable martial artist. There were also many connections involved. This was because Jingting had valued Bai Ditian greatly back then. Mohina Jin couldn't decide how to deal with Bai Ditian. Looking at Bai Ditian, he took a deep breath and said, Gu, let's go. Huh? Father, are you going to let Yang Chuan off just like that? Gu Holy Sun immediately shouted. Gu Holy Sun wanted Yang Chuan dead so badly. His father was here. Yang Chuan was supposed to be dead, but he was still alive and well. Why? Why was this happening? Mohina Jin looked coldly at Jiu. Father. Jiu Holy Son shivered and didn't dare to say anything else. With a wave of his sleeves, Mohina Jin brought Jiu Holy Son and left instantly. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Chen vanished from everyone's sight. Holy Son, Dao Lord, wait for me. Chang San and the others quickly gave chase in horror. Mohina Jin left. He suddenly left just like that. Countless cultivators in the plaza still could not accept this sudden fact. That was Mohina Jin's main body. Bai Ditian. Can anyone tell me who Bai Ditian is? Bai Ditian? Who is he? What is the relationship between Bai Ditian and Yang Chuan? Countless cultivators in the plaza revealed confused expressions. Chapter 585. Mohina Jin had given up so easily. Bai Ditian. A new expert had appeared in front of the countless cultivators. Who was he? He had forced Mohina Jin back with one punch. No, he had not forced Mohina Jin back. Almost everyone could see that Bai Ditian was at the upper void realm, and Mohina Jin had left because he knew Bai Ditian. No one thought that Mohina Jin would lose. After all, Bai Ditian and Mohina Jin had not even started fighting. Why? Bai Ditian looked around. Finally, he said to Yang Chuan, I'll wait for you in the East Hall. Whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Bai Ditian disappeared. Once Bai Ditian left, countless cultivators looked at Yang Chuan. The Emperor, Yang Chuan, Bai Ditian? There were too many surprises for the countless cultivators today. No matter what method Yang Chuan had used, he had forced Mohina Jin back. He had even forced Mohina Jin's main body to retreat. After today, Yang Chuan's name would spread throughout the world. In the radiant world. That was too exciting. Ha ha ha, he forced Mohina Jin back with one punch. This Bai Ditian is too awesome. He actually knows Yang Chuan? Dongfang Zhengpai exclaimed. Meng Rongrong sighed secretly. At the same time, she looked at Yang Chuan with a complicated expression. Meng Lingtian frowned as he looked at Bai Ditian. There was a sigh in his eyes. Hey! Why, old Meng, do you know Bai Ditian? Dongfang Zhengpai was surprised. Back then, they came to the Julu Academy to seek education. Meng Lingtian said thoughtfully. Couple? Seek education? Who? Dongfang Zhengpai was slightly stunned. Ah! Don't tell me you're talking about Bai Ditian. Dongfang Zhengpai's eyes widened. Meng Lingtian sighed slightly and said, Back then, when I officially entered the light world, I only met Bai Ditian briefly. However, he left a deep impression on me. After so many years, he has changed a lot. Ah! Really? Old Meng, how old are you? Dongfang Zhengpai looked at Meng Lingtian in surprise. You have no respect for your elders. Copy the words of the sages 100 times, Meng Lingtian said sullenly. As he spoke, he flung his sleeves and left. Ah! Copy 100 times? Old Meng, no, teacher, I was wrong, don't make me copy, the number of words will kill me. Dongfang Zhengpai cried and followed. The battle outside was almost over, and there was nothing left to see. Meng Lingtian was bored and left. Meng Rongrong and the other three were still looking outside. Heaven's Gift Square, on the broken arena. Yang Chuan looked around with the God Investiture scroll in his hand. Congratulations, Mr. Yang. You've been blessed by the investiture of the gods. You can now open the Fifth Academy, Meng Zichio exclaimed. As soon as Meng Zichio spoke, countless cultivators in the surroundings reacted. Congratulations, Mr. Yang. Congratulations, Mr. Yang, for obtaining the God Investiture scroll. Congratulations. Countless cultivators congratulated him, and many Confucian cultivators even looked at him with admiration. Today, at the Heaven's Gift Conference, he would definitely become an immortal legend. At the same time, 100 years later, perhaps Yang Chuan would be able to host the Heaven's Gift Conference. Many cultivators from various sects looked at him with friendly eyes. Mr. Munro showed a hint of bitterness. Today's battle had far exceeded his expectations. He didn't know if he would complete Mohina Jin's task when he returned. Sigh. Mr. Munro sighed slightly. He quietly left the congratulatory crowd. Yi Feng saw Wen Ruo leave, but he didn't stop her, because he could see that Wen Ruo couldn't stop her at all. Mr. Yi, please say goodbye to Prince Yang for me. I've done what I should, and it's time to return and report to my master, Spider King said solemnly. Chapter 586. I will pass on Mr. Wang's word. Yi Feng nodded. Millimeter. Wang Zhu nodded and left as well. Mo Yushi led Qing Long and the rest as they quietly watched Yang Chuan on the stage. Their eyes revealed an emotional smile. Yang Chuan looked around and saw countless cultivators congratulating him. Yang Chuan smiled. He reached out and pressed his hand down. The surrounding cultivators seemed to know that Yang Chuan had something to say, and they all stopped talking. Thank you for your support today. Next year, on the 9th day of the 9th lunar month, near Carefree City, I will hold the Great God Investiture Ceremony. All cultivators are welcome, regardless of their cultivation level, Yang Chuan said. Great God Investiture Ceremony? Most people thought that Yang Chuan's Great God Investiture Ceremony was to establish a huge academy. Instantly, countless cultivators spoke again. I will definitely attend Mr. Yang's Great God Investiture Ceremony. I will definitely be there. Mr. Yang, don't worry. Voices of agreement rose one after another. Yang Chuan smiled. Yi Feng, who was below the stage, also smiled. The Great God Investiture Ceremony would invite countless cultivators. This wasn't just a ceremony. It was more of an invitation to countless cultivators. In these 2 years, Yang Chuan and Yi Feng had conversed a lot. Yi Feng understood what kind of great country he was going to establish. A great country that could accommodate hundreds of rivers. A place where all the talents in the world gathered and experts stood in great numbers. Under the gazes of countless cultivators, Yang Chuan left the Heaven's Gift Plaza. He left behind a group of people from the Julu Academy with bitter smiles. East Hall. Bai Ditien and Yang Chuan sat opposite each other and drank. Mohina Jin. You will have a lot of trouble in the future. I remember that this Sun attendant has an excellent foundation, but he is rather narrow-minded. Bai Ditien said lightly. It doesn't matter. If there's a next time, he might not be able to do anything to me. Yang Chuan nodded. If a normal Qi Jing cultivator had said this, Bai Ditien would have looked at him with disdain. However, it was Yang Chuan, so anything was possible. After all, 2 years ago, when he had clashed with Yang Chuan's will, the battle between the dragon and the tiger was still fresh in his mind. As I said before, I will not participate in your military affairs. You are not to interfere with the tiger race's affairs, Bai Ditien said in a low voice. Don't worry, I, Yang Chuan, will naturally honor my words. However, since the tiger is the national animal, you shouldn't stop the soldiers of my dynasty from establishing friendships with the experts of the tiger race, Yang Chuan said with a smile. The tiger clan was the national beast, and other sects were not allowed to interfere. As such, they could only form an alliance with their own country. Sooner or later, the soldiers and the tiger clan would form a deep friendship. Yang Chuan could even faintly see the future of the tiger cavalry. Ha 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 ha, don't worry, Bai Ditien said with a meaningful smile. Bai Ditien naturally understood what Yang Chuan meant and did not object. After all, the tiger clan still needed to rely on the country's providence. Furthermore, he might need Yang Chuan's country in the future. The tiger cavalry? If Yang Chuan used the tiger cavalry, he would be the leader of the tiger race. In the future, when he faced the Zhugong, the tiger cavalry would definitely be able to fight for him. Within 10 days, I will leave Julu City and return to the Yang state to prepare for the establishment of the country. On the 9th day of the 9th month, the country will be officially established. If you can return early, come and observe the ceremony, Yang Chuan said with a smile. Once I have subdued the various tiger races, I will rush back as soon as possible. Bai Ditien nodded. For 10 days, Yang Chuan settled various matters in Julu City. He helped Qing Long and the rest find businesses and purchase various items. Yang Chuan, I want to return to the great Jiao sacred ground. Mo Yushi said. Chapter 587. Return to the Dazhao sacred ground? You're not going to Carefree City with me? Yang Chuan frowned. Mo Yushi smiled and shook her head. I have to return to the Dazhao sacred ground. I know you are worried that Mohina Jin will harm me. Don't worry, the Lord has instructed that he won't make things difficult for me. When you establish your country, I will definitely be there. Looking at Mo Yushi, Yang Chuan took a deep breath and nodded. Qing Long and Bai Long will follow you, just in case. Mo Yushi immediately looked at Qing Long and Bai Long, smiling faintly. Yang Chuan shook his head and said, no need. Let them protect you. No, Qing Long and Bai Long will follow you. Mo Yushi said stubbornly. How about this? Qing Long will follow me. Yang Chuan compromised. Mo Yushi nodded. Watching Mo Yushi leave, Yang Chuan felt a sense of loss and sighed. Meow, Sister Mo is leaving too. Meow looked at Mo Yushi reluctantly. All right, we'll meet again on the 9th of September next year. Look around Julu City and buy whatever you like. We'll be leaving in a few days. Yang Chuan said to Meow Meow. 2 days before the deadline, Qing Long brought Meow and Yi Feng back from Julu City to buy a large number of things. As soon as everyone returned to the square of Dongfang Palace, they saw a travel-worn man lying on the square. The man's clothes were in tatters, and he seemed to be in a deep sleep. Someone's here? Qing Long's face changed. Meow, it's Zhu Jiansheng. Meow shouted. Meow recognized him immediately. Zhu Jiansheng, the disciple of Dai sect's Mo Wuhui. In the past, he followed Yang Chuan into the Feng Shui array, went to the Demon Wind mountain range and even fought for Carefree City. A second-generation disciple of Dai sect. Zhu Jiansheng? Qing Long also recognized him. Qing Long, Yi Feng and Meow quickly surrounded him. Qing Long placed his hand on Zhu Jiansheng's pulse. I'm fine, I'm just too tired. Qing Long said. As Azure Dragon spoke, he immediately woke Zhu Jiansheng up. Zhu Jiansheng quivered and immediately opened his eyes. Yi, Mr. Yi. Meow. Senior Azure Dragon. Zhu Jiansheng immediately recognized them. Zhu Jiansheng, what? Why are you so tired? How did you find this place? Yi Feng frowned. Zhu Jiansheng's expression suddenly changed. He asked anxiously, where's Peak Master Tian? Where's Martial Uncle? Meow. You're looking for Yang Chuan? He has something to do and went out, but he'll be back soon. Meow said strangely. I want to see Martial Uncle. I want to see Martial Uncle. Zhu Jiansheng said Jiaohu. Under the Jiaohu, his body went limp. He was obviously too tired. You should rest. My king will be back soon. Yi Feng comforted. Meow, what happened? Meow asked in surprise. 100 Saints Righteousness Altar. 100 Saints protected Goddess Ji Chen. It was an empty sacred ground. Yang Chuan came to Goddess Ji Chen alone. He sighed slightly and held 3 yellow roses in his hand. He looked at a position in the void in front of him. I'll pay attention to Julu Mountain every day. You haven't come out. You haven't come out yet. Yang Chuan smiled bitterly. In the world of light, Meng Rongrong looked at Yang Chuan in an image. She bit her lips and had a complicated expression. Because Yang Chuan would come here every day to take a look. Every time he came, he wouldn't say anything. He would only bow to Goddess Ji Chen and then look at the entrance of the world of light. Although Yang Chuan didn't say anything, Meng Rongrong knew that Yang Chuan was here for her. Looking at Yang Chuan in the image, Meng Rongrong didn't know what to say. Every day, Meng Rongrong would come to take a look. Looking at Yang Chuan, she wanted to forgive Yang Chuan, but she couldn't. She looked at Yang Chuan in a daze. Today, Yang Chuan was different from the past. Today, Yang Chuan spoke and brought 3 yellow roses. I'm leaving. I can't wait for you. I can't say goodbye to you. Maybe you don't even know that I've been here. Yang Chuan smiled bitterly. Meng Rongrong bit her lips and looked at Yang Chuan in a daze. Sigh. Yang Chuan sighed deeply and placed the 3 yellow roses in his hand at the entrance of the world of light. Taking a deep breath, Yang Chuan looked at the entrance and was silent for a while. With a trace of loneliness, he turned and left. Looking at the 3 yellow roses on the ground, Meng Rongrong instantly understood the meaning of the 3 yellow roses. 2 lines of tears fell unconsciously. She was speechless. Chapter 588. Julu City, Dongfang Hall. Martial uncle, I've finally met you. Zhujian Sheng exclaimed anxiously. Sorrow was written all over his face. Zhujian Sheng? What happened? Yang Chuan's face darkened. Martial uncle, old sect leader, he's gone. Zhujian Sheng cried. What? You mean Feng Tairan? Yang Chuan raised an eyebrow. Yes, old sect leader died 7 months ago, Zhujian Sheng said sadly. Feng Tairan? The sect leader of the Day sect, Yang Chuan's father, Yang Dao's master. After Yang Dao's death, he took over the Day sect. After Yang Chuan entered the Day sect, he took care of him a lot. Welcome back. Feng Tairan smiled. I'm leaving soon. Take good care of yourself. Feng Tairan comforted. It's not that I'm generous, it's just that I think highly of you. Feng Tairan smiled. Yes, I'll pass it on to you. I don't know why you've recruited so many soldiers, but I know you must have a plan. Your foresight is further than mine. The Day sect will only grow stronger in your hands. I'll protect it for you. Feng Tairan said solemnly. Feng Tairan? The past was still vivid in his mind. Although Yang Chuan did not recognize him as martial uncle because of his father's death, Feng Tairan had always supported him since he entered the Day sect. He stood his ground against all opposition and supported all his decisions. From Peak Master Tian to Carefree City, Feng Tairan had done everything he could to support Yang Chuan. He had even mobilized all the experts in the sect to help Yang Chuan fight for Worry-Free City. After Worry-Free City had fallen into Yang Chuan's hands, Feng Tairan had given up most of the benefits to Yang Chuan. Although he did not recognize him as an elder, Yang Chuan had already treated him as an old friend. Who is it? Who killed Feng Tairan? Yang Chuan said coldly. I don't know, no one knows. Zhujian Sheng cried. Yang Chuan's face darkened. Before the old sect leader died, he seemed to have a premonition and passed the position to my master, Mo Wu Hui. Zhujian Sheng said. Mo Wu Hui, the Earth Peak Lord of the Day sect, had always been in love with Yang Chuan's father, Yang Dao. Unfortunately, Yang Dao had married Kong Susu back then. Even after his death, Mo Wu Hui would often visit Yang Dao's grave and sit there in a daze. Passed it on to Mo Wu Hui? Yang Chuan frowned. He immediately felt the complexity of the situation. Something big might have happened in Day sect. Master knows that you're in Julu City, so he asked me to find you immediately and ask you to return as soon as possible. Master said that it's urgent, very urgent. Zhujian Sheng said with a complicated expression. Qing Long, pack up everything. We'll set off in 2 incense sticks' time. Return to Day sect. Yang Chuan immediately called out to Qing Long. Yes, 4 months later. Carefree City. A branch of the demon-controlling sect. King Yi Mu was talking to a group of disciples. Master, you can't. The bald Liu Gang immediately cried out. King Yi Mu frowned as he looked at Liu Gang. Even though Liu Gang was the youngest disciple he had taken in from the Geomancy formation, he had a vicious temperament. His foresight was also unique compared to many others. Previously, it was Liu Gang who had helped him a lot in the fight for Worry-Free City. Master, is our demon-controlling sect really going to betray the Day sect? Liu Gang asked with an ugly expression. Betray? What betray? Is our demon-controlling sect a vassal of the Day sect? King Yi Mu's eldest disciple, Dan Qingzi, shouted. Liu Gang glanced at Dan Qingzi, frowned, and ignored him. Chapter 589. Master, you should still remember the battle in Worry-Free City. In that battle, the Triyu sect was completely wiped out. It's not like Master didn't see Yang Chuan's methods. Now, if Yang Chuan returns, it will be the day our demon-controlling sect is destroyed. Liu Gang said anxiously. Nonsense. What can Yang Chuan do by himself? Dan Qingzi shouted. Liu Gang glared at him. Short-sighted. What did you say? Dan Qingzi said with an ugly expression. I respect you as the eldest senior brother, which is why I called you senior brother. But did you cultivate until you became stupid? You want to bring the demon-controlling sect to eternal damnation? Liu Gang shouted coldly. Eternal damnation? You're the one who wants to bring the demon-controlling sect to eternal damnation. 5 inferior sects and nearly 20 immortal realm experts have come to Carefree City. If it weren't for Hue Guang's 100,000 mercenaries, they would have killed Hue Guang long ago. Dan Qingzi shouted coldly. Is it just Hue Guang's 100,000 mercenaries? They can't do anything to Hue Guang, Liu Gang argued. They can't do anything to Hue Guang. He's only in the Qi realm. Do you think he's Yang Chuan? Dan Qingzi said coldly. King Yi Mu, who was standing to the side, said in a deep voice, that's not all. This time, 5 inferior sects and lower void stage experts have come. They haven't made a move on Hue Guang because they are waiting for news from the Great River Sec. Lower void realm? The disciples exclaimed. Did you hear that? Fighting against the 5 great sects is suicide. The demon-controlling sect can only go with the flow. Dan Qingzi said proudly. Short-sighted. Liu Gang said again. Dan Qingzi looked at Liu Gang angrily. King Yi Mu also looked at Liu Gang with a frown. He also believed that Hue Guang wouldn't be able to stop the 5 great sects. Master, Hue Guang and Liu Jin are currently trapped in the City Lord's palace. This is the best opportunity. We should help Hue Guang, not help the 5 sects to divide the benefits that belong to us. Liu Gang said again. Oh. King Yi Mu asked in a deep voice. The 5 great sects want to enter the worry-free city. Once they succeed, our demon-controlling sect's interests will be suppressed, and we might even be driven out of the city. In fact, if they were even a little more ruthless, they would even uproot my demon control sect. Liu Gang said. King Yi's eyelids twitched as he said with a frown, but my demon-controlling sect is no match for the 5 great sect. Master, in fact, we only need to persevere for a short period of time. Master, think about Yang Chuan. What is Yang Chuan's cultivation level? Liu Gang advised. Essence state? He's only in the 9th stage of the essence state. King Yi Mu recalled. That's right. He was able to uproot the Triyu sect, Life League, and the other 4 great sects when he was only in the essence state. Now that a few years have passed, is Yang Chuan still in the essence state? At this moment, if our Imperial Demon sect were to add insult to injury, would Yang Chuan seek revenge on our Imperial Demon sect when he returns? Will our demon-controlling sect be able to withstand Yang Chuan's revenge? Liu Gang asked in a deep voice. King Yi Mu's face suddenly darkened when he thought of Yang Chuan. In King Yi Mu's heart, Yang Chuan was a perverted monster. His strength and cultivation were not proportional at all. If he came back and took revenge on the demon-controlling sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. Liu Gang took a deep breath and said, Master, this disciple will say something disrespectful. We are no match for Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan is the strongest person I've ever met, not in terms of cultivation, but in terms of methods. This disciple has studied politics in the mortal world, and this disciple cannot fathom Yang Chuan's politics. Once he comes back, the world will be turned upside down. Chapter 590. What are you talking about? How many years has it been? So what if he has reached the Qi realm? The 5 sects are waiting for him. If a lower ethereal realm expert makes a move, he'll be walking right into their trap. Dan Qingzi shouted. Ha 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 ha, do you think Yang Chuan is the same as you? You think he's still the same after 4 years? Ethereal realm? There was an ethereal realm expert here 4 years ago, but he was still killed by Yang Chuan. Liu Gang mocked. King Yi's eyelids twitched violently. Master, if you can't make up your mind, then it's best if you don't interfere. That way, the demon-controlling sect won't benefit much, but at least we won't lose too much. Liu Gang advised. Master, we can't. The 5 sects are here. If we don't participate, the benefits of Julu City will be taken away by them. Dan Qingzi shouted. King Yi pondered for a while, then shook his head and said, "Listen to Liu Gang. We won't help anyone. Master is wise." Liu Gang sighed. "Master." Dan Qingzi was anxious. "All right, let's go." King Yi sighed. "Yes." Everyone left the hall. After leaving the hall, the disciples split into two groups. One group followed Dan Qingzi because he was the eldest senior brother, while the other followed Liu Gang because they believed in Liu Gang's ability. After separating, Dan Qingzi said with a gloomy expression, "Junior brothers, although Master doesn't care, we can't let it go. If we don't participate, the demon-controlling sect will lose its foothold in Carefree City. We'll listen to eldest senior brother." On the other side, Liu Gang's expression was gloomy as he looked at the people who followed him. "Thank you for your trust, senior brothers. This might be our only chance," Liu Gang said in a deep voice. "Oh, we're willing to listen to your opinion," the senior brothers said. "Why are the 5 sects here? They're far away from Carefree City. Why are they here? Are they targeting Yang Chuan? Guang? The Day sect? H. There's only one reason for them to be so anxious," Liu Gang said in a deep voice. "Oh, this means that Yang Chuan, Guang, and the Day sect are able to threaten them. Although I don't see anything threatening them right now, but with such a grand occasion, Yang Chuan and the Day sect must have a hidden and powerful side. Not only can we not sit by and do nothing, we have to help Guang. Adding flowers to embroidery is easy, but providing help in times of need is precious. Moreover, if we really ignore them and don't help Guang, it will also be a betrayal of the alliance. When Yang Chuan returns, our demon-controlling sect may face another calamity. Moreover, even if we don't care, if the 5 great sects snatch Carefree City, will they share the benefits with our demon-controlling sect?" Liu Gang said in a low voice. "Junior brother is wise." The senior brothers nodded in agreement. "Master has his own considerations, but we have to do something. Even if something happens, we have to keep Master out of it. Keeping the demon-controlling sect out of it is our own decision. If my guess is correct, the demon-controlling sect will definitely rise to power," Liu Gang said solemnly. "We'll listen to you," the senior brothers replied instantly. Carefree City, on the floating island of the City Lord. King of Hell's Palace. Outside King of Hell's Palace, Liu Jin stood on the floating island with a horsetail whisk in her hand. Overlooking the entire Carefree City, her face was incomparably gloomy. Outside King of Hell's Palace, there were 50 men in armor standing. Each of them had a cold and arrogant expression, and killing intent radiated in all directions. 50 men in armor, each holding a spear or a longbow, quietly stood guard outside the main hall. Liu Jin slowly walked back. Eunuch Liu, one of the men in armor, greeted respectfully. "Generals, thank you for your hard work," Liu Jin said with a smile. "It's not hard at all. As long as we don't leave the floating island, those Immortal realm experts won't make things difficult for us. We 50 Qi realm experts only need to protect King of Hell's Palace." The man in armor smiled bitterly. "It will pass." Liu Jin comforted him with a smile. "Eunuch Liu, don't worry. I, Tai Nyo, only admire Master, No, and my king. I believe that Master will be able to resolve this crisis. We have all experienced Master's strength. Immortal realm? Master has the will of the stars, he may not lose. We will always be loyal to Master and our king," the man in armor said. Looking at King of Hell's Palace, Liu Jin nodded and said, "The crisis will pass, and our king will return. Those rascals will eventually be trampled under your feet. Now that we are trapped here, we just have to wait for Guang to come out of seclusion. Then, we will slaughter our way out, and gather the army to capture those rascals in one fell swoop." "Yes." The group of Qi realm experts replied in unison. The First Legion had become the spiritual pillar of the army, strict discipline and a strong sense of military awareness. They were no longer the disorganized army of mercenaries. Chapter 591. After 4 months, Yang Chuan had finally returned from Julu City. He landed on the peak of a mountain. There were 4 people and 1 cat in total. Yang Chuan, Yi Feng, Qing Long, Zhujiansheng and Miao, Qing Long, bring Yi Feng to Carefree City. Be careful of Yi Feng's safety, Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. Rest assured, young master, Qing Long nodded solemnly. Carefree City? Zhujiansheng asked doubtfully. If Day sect is in trouble, Carefree City must be in trouble too. Yang Chuan shook his head. Let's go, Yang Chuan said. As he spoke, Yang Chuan brought Zhujiansheng and shot towards Day sect. Qing Long brought Yi Feng and flew towards Carefree City. Day sect. Black Peak Hall. 3 figures stood in the hall. Black Peak's Peak Master Feng Tianyu, Jiang Nan and a black-robed man. Feng Tianyu, Feng Tairan's son, Dubai. Jiang Nan was the 3rd-generation senior. When Yang Chuan entered Day sect, he was facing his 2nd heavenly tribulation. He was battered and exhausted by the heavenly tribulation of 3,000 heavenly peak soldiers. Peak Master, it's time, Jiang Nan said solemnly. Feng Tianyu frowned. That's right, Feng Tianyu. If it's yours, it should be held in your hands. Half of the Day sect's disciples are supporting you. Your father is Feng Tairan. It's only right for you to inherit the Day sect. The black-robed man said in a deep voice. Feng Tianyu looked at the black-robed man with a complicated expression. Peak Master, if we don't go now, when will we? Jiang Nan asked anxiously. Feng Tianyu looked at Jiang Nan with disgust in his eyes. I'm worried that Mo Wu Hui won't give up so easily. Feng Tianyu frowned. Ha 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 ha, don't worry. Mo Wu Hui is just an arrow at the end of its flight. I guarantee that when you go, you will definitely be able to take back the sect leader position that belongs to you. The black-robed man laughed in a deep voice. That's right, Peak Lord. The Great Winged Heaven School has sent a total of 10 experts here. 5 of them are heading to the worry-free city, while the other 5 are here to assist Peak Lord. It'll be a piece of cake for you to obtain the sect lord's position, Jiang Nan urged. That's right, Feng Tianyu. You can't turn back now. If you want to do something, then do it thoroughly, the black-robed man said coldly. Ha 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 ha, good. Since it has come to this, I might as well take the position of sect master. Jiang Nan, go and inform the other disciples. We will head to the Great River Hall and force him to abdicate, Feng Tianyu said in a deep voice. Yes. Jiang Nan nodded and left the hall. The Great River Hall, the main peak of Day sect. Inside the Great River Hall, there were 3 figures standing there. The pale-faced Mo Wu Hui. There were also 2 white-haired and white-browed elders. Mo Wu Hui bowed solemnly to the 2 elders. Elders, I shouldn't have disturbed you. However, I have no choice. The Day sect is about to be destroyed. Wu Hui has disturbed you, Mo Wu Hui said bitterly. Mo Wu Hui, let me take a look at your injuries. One of the elders stepped forward. Mo Wu Hui took a step back and shook his head in refusal. Elders, there's no need to help me check. I know my own body best. Let's deal with the crisis at hand. The 2 elders nodded and frowned deeply. Feng Tairan, how did he die? One of the elders asked in a deep voice. Mo Wu Hui revealed a bitter smile and shook his head. I'm not sure. However, the old sect leader seemed to have sensed something, so he let me take over the sect leader position in advance. You're not sure? One of the elders frowned. Chapter 592. The old sect leader emphasized that we cannot let his son, Feng Tianyu, take over the position of sect leader. However, Feng Tianyu has gathered half of the first-generation disciples to support him. They are ready to force me to abdicate. Mo Wu Hui frowned. Feng Tianyu? That brat is a bastard. Although we have ignored the matters of the Day sect for many years, I believe in Feng Tairan. Since he supports you, we will also support you, an elder said in a deep voice. That's right. With the 2 of us here, Feng Tianyu won't be able to cause much trouble, another elder said in a deep voice. Mo Wu Hui smiled bitterly and shook his head. Elders, you may not know, but the situation in the Day sect is extremely complicated now. Not only are there conflicts between the 2 sects, but there are also other sects outside. Even with the help of the 2 elders, It will be difficult to stop them. Outer sect. What? How is that possible? An elder said in a deep voice. So what if they are outer sect? We have reached the lower emptiness realm not long ago. We will do everything for you. Mo Wuhui smiled bitterly and shook his head. No, the two elders, the enemy is powerful. There might be an emptiness realm expert. What? The two elders stared in surprise. The old sect leader is already at the peak of the god realm. Who can kill him secretly? Mo Wuhui frowned. The two elders were silent for a while. I don't expect the two of you to get rid of the enemy. I only ask the two of you to buy me some time, Mo Wuhui said solemnly. The two elders frowned. Finally, they nodded and said, okay. Stop. Without the sect leader's permission, no one is allowed to come near. Suddenly, a loud noise came from outside the hall. Elders, please step back, Mo Wuhui said solemnly. The two elders looked at each other and finally nodded. The moment the two elders entered the side hall. Bang! The door of the main hall opened with a loud bang. Mo Wuhui swung his white daoist robe and looked coldly outside the main hall. Suddenly, a large number of Dae sect disciples rushed into the main hall. They were obviously divided into two groups. One group had 40 people. The Peak Master of Yellow Peak, Gao Bufan, the Seven Swordsmen, Duan Sanshu, and Feng Tairan's grandson, Feng Shao. The other side was led by Feng Tianyu. He led 5 immortal state warriors of the Dae sect, 40 Qi state warriors, and 20 black-robed men into the room. Feng Tianyu and Mo Wuhui looked at each other coldly. Mo Wuhui, my father had instructed me to take over the position of sect master. I don't know how you tricked my father into giving you the Tian Ce, but if you hand it over now, I will let you continue to be the Earth Peak's peak lord. Feng Tianyu said in a low voice. Mo Wuhui's face was gloomy as he looked coldly at Feng Tianyu. Father, how did you become like this? A voice came from behind Mo Wuhui. It was Feng Tianyu's son, Feng Shao. Feng Shao, the grandson of Feng Tairan, used to be a famous playboy of the Dae sect. After being taught a few lessons by Yang Chuan, his temperament matured and he had been working hard on his cultivation. At this moment, Feng Tianyu was forcing the abdication, and Feng Shao was actually standing on the opposite side of Feng Tianyu. Unfilial son, what are you doing? Feng Tianyu's face darkened. Feng Shao shook his head and said with a sad face, Father, the position of sect master was passed to Martial Uncle Mo by grandfather. Many people saw it at that time, and I was also by your side. Why did you lie? Unfilial son, you have no right to speak here. Feng Tianyu glared at him and scolded. Yes, junior brother. At this time, you are not helping your father, but helping an outsider, Jiang Nan said indifferently. Chapter 593. Feng Shao glared at Jiang Nan and said, Shut up, Jiang Nan. I was wrong about you. You are a villain. Me. Jiang Nan's eyes turned cold. Turning around, Feng Shao looked at Feng Tianyu and said, Father, you have already lost an arm. What's the point of fighting for the position of sect leader? The Dae sect was passed down to Martial Uncle Mo by Grandpa. Do you want to disturb the peace of the Dae sect by allying with outsiders? Father, stop. Feng Shao said sadly. Slap. Feng Tianyu slapped Feng Shao's face. You have no right to talk about my matters. Go home. Feng Tianyu said coldly. Feng Shao covered his mouth and tears rolled down his face. Father, you have never hit me. You have never hit me. You hit me. Mother, grandmother, can your spirits in heaven see this? Father has changed. Father hit me. Father disobeyed Grandpa. Seeing his son's sadness, Feng Tianyu's eyes flashed with pity, but he still looked at Feng Shao coldly. Go home. Feng Tianyu said coldly. No, I will not go home. Father, I don't know why you have become like this, but this is Grandpa's decision. Also, I know that the men in black behind you are not good people. I know that you were forced. I will not agree to it. I will not go back. Feng Shao said stubbornly. You. Feng Tianyu's face darkened. Feng Tianyu suddenly moved. Before Feng Shao could react, He slapped the back of Feng Shao's head. Feng Shao's body went soft and he fainted. Feng Tianyu. Mo Wu Hui glared. Feng Shao is my son. I am in charge of my son. Do you want to interfere? Feng Tianyu said coldly. Send my son back. Feng Tianyu said to a Qijing cultivator. Yes. Feng Shao was quickly taken away. After Feng Shao was taken away, Feng Tianyu regained his momentum and looked coldly at Mo Wu Hui. Mo Wu Hui, hand over the Tianci. It should not be yours. Feng Tianyu said seriously. Yes, Mo Wu Hui. The Tianci should be inherited by Feng Tianyu. You must return it to Feng Tianyu. You bewitched Feng Tairan and made him give you the Tianci. Aren't you going to return it to Feng Tianyu? The 5 immortal state warriors who supported Feng Tianyu said one after another. Scoundrel, Feng Tairan personally seduced me. I saw it with my own eyes. How can I be bewitched? Duan San Shu said in a deep voice. Although you are disciples of the first generation, you have no right to participate in the government affairs of the Day sect. Do you have the right to speak? Jiao Bufan said coldly. Mo Wu Hui coldly looked at the group of people before finally looking at the 20 black-robed figures. He then looked at Feng Tianyu. Feng Tianyu looked at Mo Wu Hui with a complicated expression. His eyes seemed to be telling Mo Wu Hui to hand over the Tianci to him first and talk about the rest later. Mo Wu Hui could see the look in Feng Tianyu's eyes. He could also feel that Feng Tianyu might have some hidden troubles. However, Mo Wu Hui still shook his head. Tianci, I will not hand it over to you. Never. Bastard. Mo Wu Hui, do you really want to cause internal strife in my Day sect? Mo Wu Hui, you are not qualified to be the sect leader. Feng Tianyu, you deceived your master and destroyed your ancestors. How can you face your father? In the Day Hall, there was a lot of noise. Swords were drawn and bows were bent. It was as if a big battle would break out at any time. Almost all the disciples of the Day sect had gathered at the foot of the main peak. The disciples of both sides were ready to fight. A civil war was imminent. At the entrance of the Day sect, it was empty. The breeze rolled up the smoke and dust in the surroundings. It looked extremely desolate and cold. Suddenly, Yang Chuan and Zhujian Sheng landed in front of the entrance. Standing at the entrance, the two looked around the Day sect. The disciples who used to go in and out were gone. The disciples who used to fly around were also gone. Looking at the interior of the Day sect from the entrance, it was quiet and deserted. Martial uncle? Zhujian Sheng's face darkened. Let's go back. Yang Chuan took a deep breath and stepped into the Day sect. Chapter 594. Worry-Free City. On the floating island of the City Lord Mansion, Liu Jin stood at the edge of the floating island and looked around coldly. Eunuch Liu, why don't we charge again? An armored general stepped forward. Liu Jin shook her head. No need. Hu Guang is already prepared. As long as there are no orders for a long time, the army will immediately rush back from all directions. You just need to wait. Millimeter. The armored general nodded. However, the 3,000 guards in the city did not come to defend. It seems that the 3,000 guards in the city have been subdued. It seems that there are many people from the 5 sects. Liu Jin frowned. How can this be? The 3,000 guards are well trained. How can they all be subdued? Even if they escaped, this is our home ground. How can they be caught by the 5 sects? The armored general frowned. There is only one possibility. Liu Jin's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. Eunuch Liu, are you saying that the Imperial Demon sect betrayed us? The armored general was shocked. Not only the Imperial Demon sect, but also the Day sect. Liu Jin's tone was gloomy. Day sect? How is that possible? The armored general was shocked. Nothing is impossible. Some time ago, the disciples of the Day sect were rotated. At that time, I was still wondering why they were all replaced by disciples of the Black Peak. If the Day sect and the Imperial Demon sect did not betray us, how can the 3,000 guards' whereabouts be exposed? Liu Jin's eyes were gloomy. Ah! My king is right. There can only be one government in a city. If several forces control a city, something will happen sooner or later. If this battle is over, the forces of the Dae sect and the Imperial Demon sect must be wiped out. Liu Jin flung her horsetail whisk and said coldly. Then, Eunuch Liu, what do you plan to do now? The armored general was worried. We can't go out now. As long as we guard Huguang and wait for him to break through, we can go out. Outside, the army of 100,000 will be back soon. Don't worry, everything will pass. Anyone who schemed against us will have to pay a heavy price. Liu Jin said coldly. Yes. Liu Jin looked down at the surroundings. Not far below the floating island, in a courtyard, there was also a group of people looking up at the sky. The 20 people were all dressed in luxurious robes. They coldly glanced at the floating island and then walked towards a side hall. As for the main palace, it was still closed. In the side hall, 20 Immortal State warriors and a bunch of Chi State warriors. It's really funny. A man laughed bitterly. What's so funny? Isn't our sect's elder, a lower void realm expert, also sitting in the main hall? Another man said in a deep voice. Sect Master Mo Yi, you're right, but this matter is still a little strange. The man smiled bitterly. I know what you are thinking. Our 5 sects brought 8,000 disciples into Worry-Free City. Logically speaking, we should have been able to clean up everything and take control of the city swiftly. However, we didn't do so. Instead, we cooperated with the Dae sect and the Imperial Demon sect. Sect Master Mo Yi laughed. Yeah, then what does Huguang have? Weren't the 3,000 guards all captured and imprisoned by us? Wouldn't it be fine if we captured Huguang? Why did we have to do so much? The man complained. This is an order from the Great Winged Heaven School. It seems that someone is interested in the army of 100,000. Sect Master Mo Yi shook his head. Interested in the army of 100,000? That's right. The Great Winged Heaven School wants to subdue the army of 100,000. Mo Yi nodded. Chapter 595. Oh, who wants her? Is it Xingkuan Kuroha? Everyone looked at Sect Master Mo Yi curiously. Sect Master Mo Yi shook his head and smiled wryly. He took a deep breath and said, Everyone, do you remember the scene when we surrounded the Dae sect more than 10 years ago? Then, all the Immortal State warriors narrowed their eyes. Sect Master Mo Yi, are you talking about Emperor Mo Ku from the west? An Immortal State warrior raised his eyebrows. Speaking of Emperor Mo Ku, all the Immortal State warriors tensed up. Back then, Emperor Mo Ku came from the west to the east and supported Xingkuan Kuroha to become the sect master of the Great Winged Heaven School. Then, he used the Great Winged Heaven School to mobilize 100 sects to surround the Dae sect and finally killed Yang Dao and his wife. His strength and means shocked all the Immortal State warriors. It's the messenger of Emperor Mo Ku. I also heard from the elders that the messenger is called Great Wisdom Bodhisattva, Mo Yi whispered. Bodhisattva? A bodhisattva's karmic rank is equal to a perfected cultivator. Emperor Mo Ku sent a bodhisattva. The Immortal State warriors frowned. We'll do as you say. Don't complain anymore, Mo Yi said in a deep voice. Chem. The Immortal State warriors nodded. While the Immortal State warriors were talking, a disciple walked into the hall. Uncles, Dan Qingzi of the Demon Controlling Sect wants to see you. Oh. Let him in. Mo Yi was surprised. In a secluded valley in Carefree City, there were many houses in the valley. Liu Gang touched his bald head and looked at the 50 men and women tied up in the yard. A group of disciples of the Demon Controlling Sect stood behind Liu Gang. Are you Liu Gang from the Demon Controlling Sect? What do you want? A man who was tied up yelled. My father is Mo Yi. If you dare to catch me, my father will kill your whole family. Another man who was tied up yelled. The 50 men and women who were tied up looked at Liu Gang in horror. Junior Marshal Brother Liu Gang, these people are all close relatives of Divine Realm experts from the 5 Great Sect. We've caught them all. A disciple of the Demon Controlling Sect said with a smile. Liu Gang looked at the people who were tied up and nodded. Then, He turned to look at the group of senior brothers. Senior brothers, you've done a great job. Did the 5 great sects really think that it would be easy this time? He actually brought his family members along? Haha. Liu Gang laughed. Close to 8,000 people from the 5 sects entered the city, and the guards of the worry-free city were all subdued. That was why we were able to succeed so easily, a disciple from the demon-controlling sect said with a smile. Thank you for your hard work, senior brothers, Liu Gang said solemnly. Ha ha ha, we believe in junior brother. Everyone nodded. If that's the case, I would like to ask senior brothers to agree to a presumptuous request of mine. Liu Gang suddenly bowed and said solemnly. Ah, junior brother, what are you doing? Why do you need to salute? All the senior brothers stepped forward. Junior brother, just say it. Liu Gang looked at the group of senior brothers and said solemnly, Senior brothers, it's not that I, Liu Gang, am a despicable person, but this matter is of great importance, and our lives are at stake. We have no choice but to be cautious. From now on, no one is allowed to leave this place, alright? Everyone's eyebrows rose. Does junior brother not trust us? A disciple from the demon-controlling sect asked solemnly. Liu Gang shook his head. If I didn't trust senior brother, I wouldn't have asked for senior brother's help. However, this matter concerns our lives, we have to be cautious. Senior brother, please forgive us. Chapter 596. As Liu Gang spoke, he bowed once more. Everyone looked at Liu Gang, and in the end, they all nodded with complicated expressions. Okay, since we promised junior brother, we'll listen to you. Many thanks, senior brother. As they waited, a large number of soldiers gathered outside the 4 gates of Carefree City. At the southern gate, 10,000 travel-worn soldiers carried a large number of demonic beasts on their shoulders. It was clear that they had obtained a bountiful harvest from this hunt. Open the gates. The leading general shouted. Dan Qingzi stood on the city gate with his hands behind his back, looking at the 10,000 soldiers clamoring outside. General Zhong, please wait outside the city for several days, Dan Qingzi called out. General Zhong looked at the city gate tower and narrowed his eyes. Wait, where's old Ma? Why is it you, a pretty boy? General Zhong's expression changed. Old Ma is resting for several days. I'll guard the city for him, Dan Qingzi said with a smile. General Zhong's expression changed. Get into formation and prepare for battle, General Zhong shouted. Boom. The soldiers were well trained. They quickly threw away the demonic beasts on their shoulders and aimed their bows at the city wall. Dan Qingzi, open the city gate. General Zhong roared. General Zhong, what are you doing? What's the harm in waiting for a few days? Dan Qingzi said with a frown. Bastard, I knew something was wrong when I didn't receive any news from my lord for several days, so I hurried back. Sure enough, something has happened in Carefree City. Fire. General Zhong roared. Boom. 10,000 sun-shooting arrows shot toward the city gate tower. Dan Qingzi's expression changed as he retreated. Bang. 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 Layers of barriers appeared outside the city wall, blocking the arrow rain. Carefree City's formation? You actually activated Carefree City's formation? What happened to my lord? General Zhong roared. Dan Qingzi was embarrassed by his loss of composure. He flung his sleeve and said coldly, once Carefree City's formation is activated, no one can enter or leave. If you want to wait a few more days, then wait a few more days. Hua Guang isn't dead yet. Bastard demon-controlling sect master. Bastard demon-controlling sect master. General Zhong roared. Attack the city. General Zhong roared. Rumble. Rumbles came from all directions outside Carefree City. More and more troops rushed back from all directions. However, it was a pity that the worry-free city's formation was too sturdy and they couldn't break through it in a short period of time. 2 days later, in front of the Carefree City Lord Manor. In the small courtyard. Seniors, the army of 100,000 has been blocked outside. Please hurry up and deal with Hua Guang, Dan Qingzi said worriedly. Dan Qingzi, you're doing well. Keep blocking. After a long time, they will rest. Sect leader Mo Yi said with a smile. Millimeter. Dan Qingzi nodded. After seeing Dan Qingzi off, Mo Yi frowned. Sect leader Mo Yi, why are we waiting for news from the Day sect? The Day sect's plan is actually for Yang Chuan. If Yang Chuan doesn't die, Huguang won't surrender. Therefore, we can only wait for the Day sect to succeed in their plan, lure Yang Chuan back, and kill Yang Chuan. Only then can we proceed smoothly. Let's wait patiently, Mo Yi said in a low voice. Lure. Once Feng Tianyu becomes the sect leader, he can use Tian Ce, at the cost of damaging his own Tian Ce, to use the pool of merit to send a message to Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan will definitely rush back to the Day sect. There, he will be surrounded. Once Yang Chuan dies, Huguang will be able to subdue him, Mo Yi said in a low voice. Kill Yang Chuan? That's right. The Great Winged Heaven School gave us the mission to destroy the Day sect, eliminate Yang Chuan, and subdue Huguang's army of 100,000. Sect leader Mo Yi said in a low voice. Then we still have to wait for a while. Yes, but don't worry. Huguang is only in the Qi realm, Mo Yi said in a low voice. Just as Mo Yi was about to win, a large number of dark clouds suddenly appeared in the sky above Carefree City. Rumble. Black clouds appeared out of nowhere, and countless bolts of lightning suddenly flashed. Heavenly tribulation? 39 heavenly tribulations? Mo Yi exclaimed in shock. On the floating island of the City Lord's residence in Carefree City. He broke through. Huguang finally broke through. Ha ha. Liu Jin shouted excitedly. Chapter 597. Carefree City. On the floating island where the City Lord's mansion was located. Kaboom! The King of Hell's palace rumbled as a powerful energy shot up into the sky. The eyes of the 50 Qi Jing warriors brightened as they heard the news. Kaboom! Dark clouds gathered in the sky as the heavenly tribulation clouds rolled toward them. 39 heavenly tribulations. Huguang has reached the heavenly tribulation, Liu Jin shouted excitedly. The 50 Qi state overlords were also excited. Under the floating island, 20 immortal state warriors looked at the sky coldly. All of them had passed the 39 heavenly tribulations, so they knew what it meant. After passing the heavenly tribulation, one would reach the immortal state. It's Huguang, an immortal state warrior said with a frown. No wonder we haven't seen Huguang these days. He was in seclusion to break through. Another immortal state warrior said with a frown. Sect Master Mo Yi, what should we do now? The immortal state warriors looked to Mo Yi. Mo Yi narrowed his eyes and stared at the dark clouds in the sky. Don't worry, he is just an immortal state warrior. Even if Huguang had passed the heavenly tribulation, he would only be a stage 1 immortal state warrior. Besides, our elders are here. Huguang won't be able to do anything. Mo Yi shook his head and said. While the immortal state warriors were talking, a man in a white robe flew into the sky with a silver spear in his hand. He stood in the air and looked at the heavenly tribulation clouds. It was Huguang. His long hair fluttered in the wind as he looked up at the sky with an unyielding face. Roar! Huguang roared at the sky, and dozens of lightning bolts struck down at Huguang. Boom! Huguang was immersed in the lightning. Huguang didn't use his dharmic powers to block the lightning bolts. Instead, the lightning bolts surrounded Huguang and destroyed his clothes. At the same time, it tempered Huguang's body. Rumble. Huguang felt as if his entire body was soaked in a lightning battery. He crazily tempered his body. What? He's crazy. A deity realm expert exclaimed. He's using his physical body in the first wave of heavenly lightning? How is this possible? The group of immortal state warriors looked at the sky in surprise. Generally speaking, cultivators would use magic treasures and weapons to resist the heavenly tribulation. Only when they reached the last bolt or two would they dare to draw it into their bodies to temper their bodies. This was because, although lightning tempering the body was precious, its destructive power was also incomparably shocking. The flesh body could not withstand too much lightning. But Huguang, had he been resisting with his physical body from the very beginning? For some reason, the 20 gods suddenly felt uneasy. Far away in the city, in a valley, Liu Gang looked up at the tribulation clouds. Junior brother, this Huguang is really fierce. A demon-controlling sect disciple exclaimed in surprise. If he wasn't fierce, how could he have caught the eye of Yang Chuan and been appointed as the First Legion's commander? Liu Gang narrowed his eyes. The First Legion's commander? I know it by accident. If there is a first, there will be a second, third, fourth. Yang Chuan is ambitious. Only by following such a person can I show my brilliance. Liu Gang's eyes flashed with a hint of eagerness. Ah! What? The demon-controlling sect disciple was puzzled. Liu Gang shook his head and said, Senior brothers, maybe it's up to us now. You must do as I say. Junior brother, what's your plan? The senior brothers were puzzled. Liu Gang looked at the crowd and took a deep breath. Everyone, we've already offended these 50 people. Even if we turn back now, it's too late. Why don't we give up on resisting the 5 major sects and wait for the 5 major sects to slaughter us? Or, follow me and do something big. Chapter 598. The senior brothers' faces darkened, but they eventually nodded and said, We'll listen to you. Liu Gang looked at the crowd again and said, Perhaps my decision will go against Master's wishes. Are you still willing to help me? Go against King Yi's wishes? Everyone's faces darkened. Clearly, they didn't expect this to happen. We'll listen to you. Everyone said at the same time. All right. Liu Gang nodded. He turned around and looked at Huguang, who was in the middle of his tribulation. Outside the city, the 100,000 soldiers suddenly stopped attacking the city. Some of the Qi Jing experts slowly floated up and looked at the tribulation clouds in the sky. They immediately saw Huguang floating in the sky. It's our Lord's tribulation. The Qi Jing expert immediately shouted. My lord. The 100,000 soldiers were delighted. Attack the city. Continue attacking the city. Protect our lord. Suddenly, a loud shout came from outside the city. Yes. Rumble. Powerful rumbling sounds continuously battered the city gates. Dan Qingzi, who had rushed back from the city, had an ugly expression on his face. Outside the Imperial Monster Palace, King Yi frowned and looked at the city lord's floating island. Looking at the tribulation in the distance, King Yi frowned deeply and felt a sense of unease. The lightning madly tempered Huguang's body. Roar. Huguang's body seemed to be in great pain, but Huguang still remembered Yang Chuan's words. Although the tribulation was a disaster, it was also a blessing. After enduring the pain, there would be great rewards. Rumble. Round after round of lightning entered Huguang's body. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 rounds of lightning had passed. The immortal state experts' faces darkened. Sect leader Mo Yi, something's wrong. Huguang is enduring so many lightning strikes. Once he becomes an immortal state expert, he will be extraordinary. An immortal state expert said worriedly. Yeah, I'm worried that we won't be able to stop him. Another person said worriedly. Sect leader Mo Yi, shall I go and take a look? A red-haired immortal state expert narrowed his eyes and said. Millimeter. Mo Yi nodded. At this moment, Mo Yi also felt a sense of unease. Who? An immortal realm expert soared into the sky. But as soon as he landed on the floating island. Release the arrows. Liu Jin's voice suddenly rang out. Boom. 50 Qi Jing generals simultaneously released their arrows. Bam. 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 The power of the shooting sun arrows suddenly erupted. It was as if 50 shooting stars had suddenly rushed over. Rumble. The immortal realm expert's expression changed as he quickly blocked the shooting sun arrows. Release the arrows. Liu Jin continued to shout. Bang 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 bang. The shooting sun arrows quickly suppressed the God Realm warrior, preventing him from going up to the sky to disturb Huguang. The faces of the immortal state warriors below changed. Let's go. Mo Yi shouted. Boom. A group of divine realm warriors soared into the sky together. At this moment, Huguang seemed to have sensed the threat coming from below. He took a step forward and soared into the sky. What are you doing? Is Huguang crazy? Someone shouted again. He wants to charge into the tribulation clouds. Is he crazy? A group of immortal state warriors exclaimed. Stop him. Moyi shouted. Moyi felt more and more uneasy. He didn't know what was going on, but at this moment, he instinctively wanted to stop Huguang. However, Huguang rushed into the tribulation clouds in the blink of an eye. Rumble. The tribulation clouds of the 39 heavenly tribulations rolled. 20 immortal state warriors soared into the sky with pale faces, but they didn't dare to step into the clouds. Ah! Huguang's painful cry came from inside the tribulation clouds. Chapter 599. Howl, Army Destroyer. Following an explosive roar from within the tribulation cloud, an enormous aura suddenly rushed out. In the distant sky, a beam of light suddenly shot down. It was only daytime, but the stars were still in their original positions, covered by the sun. The star will of the Army Destroyer star suddenly poured into the tribulation cloud. Boom! The tribulation cloud of the 39 heavenly tribulations suddenly twisted violently. With a loud bang, the 39 heavenly tribulations suddenly exploded. Hong tilde 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 tilde. The huge 39 heavenly tribulations exploded, but at the center of the explosion, a terrifying aura pressed down. The 20 divine realm warriors' faces changed. How could it be? Someone exclaimed. After the explosion, the phantom of a peerless general seemed to condense in the void. The peerless general held a long spear in his hand. His eyes were wide open, and a terrifying will made everyone's heart tremble. The Army Destroyer will. In the phantom of the peerless general, Huguang was holding a long spear and surrounded by the Army Destroyer will. In an instant, Huguang's battle intent soared to the sky. A fierce aura suddenly burst out and suppressed the group of divine realm warriors. Impossible. He has just finished the 39 heavenly tribulations and is at LV1 of the divine realm. How could his aura be so strong? A divine realm warrior exclaimed. Huguang's clothes were torn by the explosion. Huguang grabbed the spear with one hand and tore it in front of his chest with the other hand. Whoosh! The torn clothes were torn away, and the bare-chested Qin Haodong held the spear and looked at the crowd. You're courting death. Huguang waved his long spear and a powerful spear force rushed to the 20 divine realm warriors. One of the divine realm warriors raised his sword and blocked it. Boom! The sword in the divine realm warrior's hand suddenly exploded, and the divine realm warrior spat out a mouthful of blood. Puff! With the Army Destroyer will, Huguang's strength at the moment was more than LV1 of the divine realm warrior. Let's go together and take down Huguang, Moyi exclaimed. Humph! How dare you trap me? Huguang stared at him and the long spear suddenly burst out billions of silver light. Rumble. 1 against 20, Huguang's might was boundless. Boom! 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 As the spears collided again and again, the 20 divine realm warriors all spat out blood. 1 against 20, Huguang suppressed all of them. The star intent was extremely domineering. As the long spear danced, a terrifying destructive force rushed towards the immortal state warriors. Poof! 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 The sound of vomiting blood could be heard continuously. Huguang was simply too ferocious. They were all in the divine realm, but at this moment, Huguang was simply suppressing them one-sidedly. Impossible! Impossible! Let's work together to stop Huguang. Ah! The battle in the air continued without pause. Around Worry-Free City, countless cultivators looked up at the sky. The acting city lord, Huguang, showed his domineering side for the first time. Countless people looked up at the sky in shock. The 8,000 experts of the 5 sects rushed over. In an instant, there were countless experts around the floating island. Liu Jin and the others were extremely excited. While Huguang suppressed the crowd, a large hall opened at the bottom of the floating island. The disciples of the 5 sects immediately saw a man in a daoist robe walk out of the hall. Elder. Everyone called out respectfully. An old man in a Taikai daoist robe stepped out and looked coldly at the sky. Bam! Bam! Under Huguang's long spear, the 20 divine realm warriors were injured. 2 of them even had their heads explode and died on the spot. Bastard! The old man in the Tai-Kai Daoist robe glared and a powerful aura shot up to the sky. The aura of a lower void realm warrior forced Huguang's long spear to stop. Whoosh! The remaining 18 divine realm warriors looked at Huguang in fear and quickly dodged. Huguang was too terrifying. Shrouded in the will of the stars, Huguang was too ferocious. Everyone felt that they were not facing a human, but a peerless demon. Huguang looked down and stared at the old man in the Tai-Kai Daoist robe. Huguang glared and said, "Lower void realm warrior? Ignorant kid, why don't you surrender?" The old man in the Tai-Kai Daoist robe said coldly, "So what if you are in the lower void realm? I, Huguang, will still kill you." Huguang glared. Chapter 600. Ignorant brat, why aren't you surrendering? The old man in the Taiji Daoist robe said coldly, "So what if you are at the lower void stage? I, Huguang, will kill you all the same." Huguang glared. Huguang dared to say such words because Huguang had the ability to do so. Firstly, he had the will of the stars and the army destroyer, the star will that was born for battle. Secondly, Huguang originally had the potential to be a fierce general. Throughout his cultivation journey, he had been growing in the midst of slaughter. The ferocity of his battles was overwhelming. Furthermore, according to Yang Chuan's method, Huguang's body was tempered by heavenly lightning. His body was not weaker than a lower emptiness realm expert. Most importantly, Huguang's cultivation technique, the Spear Heart secret art, was a heaven-grade cultivation technique. In terms of cultivation technique, it was definitely much stronger than an ordinary lower emptiness realm expert. Ignorant brat, you're courting death. The old man in the Taiji Daoist robes glared at Meng Hao, then took a step forward and shot into the sky. Swish! A sword rainbow instantly slashed towards Huguang. Huguang's eyes widened as he stretched out his spear towards the sword rainbow. Boom! Under the impact, Huguang was pushed back 100 zhong before he stabilized himself. The lower emptiness realm naturally had its own uniqueness. Even though Huguang had many outstanding points, he was no longer as unbridled as before. Hey! You've just transcended the 3 in 9 heavenly tribulation, yet you're able to withstand my sword? The old man's face darkened. Lower void stage? Since that's the case, then you can be my whetstone. Huguang glared at him and rushed forward. Boom! The astral spear shot straight at the old man in the Taiji Daoist robe, and the two of them started fighting in the void. Hoo! 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 Fierce winds blew as the two peerless powerhouses fought each other. Mo Yi and the others' faces sank. Huguang! What a terrifying Huguang! A deity realm expert exclaimed in shock. 1 against 20. He alone can kill 20 of my men? He can still be so calm when facing an emptiness realm expert. The faces of the immortal state warriors turned extremely ugly. Trying to escape? Where do you think you're going? The old man in the Taiji Daoist robe suddenly shouted. Because at this moment, Huguang was fighting and retreating towards the east. Ha ha ha, to deal with you, do you think I'm going to run? Huguang shouted. Although he shouted, Huguang still moved towards the east. That's not right. Sect leader Mo Yi's expression changed. What is it? Huguang isn't running away. He's heading to the east gate. He wants to break open the east gate and let the 100,000 soldiers in. Mo Yi immediately saw through Huguang's intentions. Ah! What should he do? Although Elder can suppress Huguang, he can't stop Huguang from heading east. A deity realm expert frowned. Come on, let's go to Elder Kai and stop Huguang from leaving, Mo Yi shouted. All right. The 18 immortal state warriors rushed up to the sky and surrounded Yi Chen. Rumble. Huguang was fighting against a lower void state warrior and 18 immortal state warriors alone. The pressure on him multiplied and he was trapped on the spot. Roar. Huguang fought like a madman. Looking at the sky, all the cultivators were amazed by Huguang's strength. He had just reached the first level of the immortal state, but he could fight against a lower void state warrior and 18 immortal state warriors. That was unbelievable. Countless people revealed a look of shock. King Yi's face darkened. He felt that he might have made the wrong decision. At the southern city gate, Dan Qingzi's face twitched. Dan Qingzi had witnessed Hua Guang's growth. Hua Guang, who used to be something that he could easily crush, was now showing such a ferocious side. Wasn't this too exaggerated? On the floating island, Liu Jin watched Hua Guang lead the people away. She took a deep breath and said, "Generals, let's go." Hua Guang has stalled all the Immortal State Warriors and Lower Void State Warriors. Go to the 4 city gates and break open the city gates. Let the 100,000 soldiers in. Chapter 601. Yes. The 50 Qi Jing cultivators shouted in unison. Whoosh. The 50 Qi Jing cultivators quickly fled in all directions. Where do you think you're going? The 5 sects had sent 8,000 cultivators into the city, and there were hundreds of Qi Jing cultivators. How could they allow the 50 Qi Jing cultivators to destroy the city? Rumble. The 50 Qi Jing cultivators were stopped in their tracks. They were outnumbered several times over, and it was impossible for them to escape. Liu Jin stood on the floating island with a gloomy face. In an instant, battles broke out in the city, and the 100,000 soldiers outside the city were anxious. Ha 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 ha, it's useless. Hua Guang, surrender. Mo Yi looked around and laughed. Asking Hua Guang to surrender? Yang Chuan was probably the only person in the world who could do that. Others? Dream on. Hua Guang roared as he continued to attack with his spear. It's useless. No one can save you. The 100,000 soldiers won't be able to help you at the city gates. Mo Yi laughed. Mo Yi, you old fool. Suddenly, a loud shout came from the carefree city. Many cultivators turned around to look at the source of the shout. It was the peak of a tall mountain. The peak of the mountain was not far from the Imperial Demon Palace. King Yi Mu turned to look at the source of the voice, and his expression changed drastically. On the peak, Liu Gang stood at the front with 50 Tide cultivators kneeling behind him. Behind each of the Tide cultivators stood a disciple of the Imperial Demon Sect. Father, save me. One of the kneeling cultivators screamed in fear. Ah, my son, you bastard. Mo Yi screamed. Father, save me. Grandfather, save me. Third uncle, save me. Great-grandfather, save me. 50 tied-up Xiozha cried for help in terror. Bastard. How dare you? You're courting death. The 18 Immortal Realm cultivators were furious. For a moment, the 18 Immortal Realm cultivators panicked. Some of them even wanted to charge over. Liu Gang grabbed Mo Yi's son and placed his saber on his neck. Don't come over. The Imperial Demon Sect disciples placed their sabers on the necks of the kneeling cultivators. Who? The faces of the 18 Divinity State warriors darkened. Their loved ones were restrained, and for a moment, they were very anxious. Unfilial disciple, let go of me. King Yi Mu yelled. King Yi Mui didn't expect his disciple to be so bold as to capture the family members of the Immortal State experts from the 5 major sects. This was pushing the demon-controlling sect to their doom. Liu Gang glanced at King Wild. Master, it's not that I don't want to release them, it's just that it's too late. Master, please order my sect's disciples to open the city gates. Liu Gang shouted. Bastard, are you threatening your master? King Wild Mu's face darkened. Open the city gates? Mo Yi and the other Immortal State warriors in the sky were shocked. King Mui, don't open the gate. No one is allowed to open it. Mo Yi roared. Father, save me. Faced with Liu Gang's cold hand, Mo Yi's son immediately cried out in pain. Mo Yi looked at his son and his face darkened. However, Mo Yi knew that once the city gates opened, all their efforts would be for naught. Even if you captured my son, you can't threaten me. Mo Yi shouted coldly. That's right, kid, you're courting death. You want to use our loved ones to threaten us? Dream on. The Immortal Realm cultivators shouted. Liu Gang looked at the Immortal Realm cultivators and sneered. Threaten you? I'm not going to threaten you. Then, Liu Gang looked at King Wild Mu and said, Master, it's up to you whether to open the city gates or not. Chapter 602. After saying that, a sinister glint flashed in Liu Gang's eyes, and he pulled his hand. Boom! Mo Yi's son's head was separated from his neck. Liu Gang instantly beheaded him. King Yi's heart skipped a beat. Roar! Bastard! How dare you kill my son? Mo Yi roared like a madman. Mo Yi didn't open the city gates because he was sure that Liu Gang wouldn't dare hurt his son. Who would have thought that Liu Gang would kill his son on the spot? Kill them! Liu Gang shouted. Yes! Bam! 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 Behind Liu Gang, the 50 Divine Realm relatives who were tied up were all beheaded and killed on the spot. No! Bastard! Brat, you're courting death. The Immortal State warriors roared as they watched their sons, nephews, and grandsons being killed one after another. The Immortal State warriors roared in anger. Liu Gang had been watching King Wild the whole time he had killed 50 Immortal State warriors of his family. Master, for the sake of the demon-controlling sect, it's up to you, Liu Gang said in a deep voice. King Wild Mu's eyelids twitched violently. He finally understood what was going on. Killing their relatives in front of the 5 major sects was not a threat to the 5 major sects, but a threat to himself. The demon-controlling sect had killed their loved ones. After this battle, it would be impossible for the demon-controlling sect to escape unscathed, let alone share the benefits. Wretched disciple, wretched spawn. King Yi Mu's expression was extremely ugly. This was Liu Gang using his own viciousness to force the demon control sect onto Yang Chuan's ship. Master, hurry! Liu Gang shouted as he led his senior brothers towards King Wild Mun. King Yi Mu's expression was extremely ugly, but he still roared, listen up, demon-controlling sect disciples. Withdraw the formation and open the city gates. In the distance, on the southern gate tower, Dan Qingzi was completely dumbfounded. He watched as Liu Gang killed the relatives of the 5 great sects in the distance. Compared to his ruthless methods, his methods of currying favor with Liu Gang were far inferior. Without needing Dan Qingzi to say anything, the disciples of the monster-controlling sect all opened their gates. Quang! Kill! Kill! The city gates opened, and the 100,000 soldiers outside the city roared as they swarmed in. Bastard! Close the door! Close the door! Mo Yi screamed. He roared furiously at King Yi. Liu Gang and the others quickly hid behind King Wild. King Yi Mui's expression was extremely ugly. His traitorous disciple had forced him to side with Yang Chuan. Mo Yi yelled at him not to open the city gates, but it was still the same. King Wild had no choice but to swallow this bitter pill. He turned his head and looked coldly at the other side. He had no choice but to join forces with Hua Guang. Junior brothers. Protect Liu Gang, King Wild said bitterly. At this moment, if Liu Gang was killed, the demon-controlling sect would really be in a dilemma. The other 2 Immortal State warriors from the monster-controlling sect looked at King Yi Mu bitterly. They took out their weapons and prepared to fend off the Immortal State warriors. Rumble. The demon-controlling sect joined the battle. Ha 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 ha. On the floating island, Liu Jin laughed loudly. 100,000 soldiers had entered the city. The 50 Qi state warriors who were besieged suddenly became excited because the reinforcements had arrived. After sending a few Immortal State warriors to kill Liu Gang, Hua Guang seemed to be able to catch his breath. Ha 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 ha. Hua Guang laughed excitedly. First Legion, kill all the cultivators from the 5 major sects. Kill, kill, kill. Hua Guang roared from the sky. Yes tilde 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 tilde. The 100,000 soldiers who had rushed into the city roared in unison. Their voices shook the entire carefree city. Monstrous murderous intent gathered on the floating island. 100,000 soldiers besieged 8,000 cultivators. Ah, bastard! Mo Yi roared. The situation suddenly became chaotic. The situation that was originally under control changed in the blink of an eye. It was completely out of control. Mo Yi was furious. Chapter 603. Xiu. The 4, 5, 6, and 7 swordsmen landed beside Yang Chuan. Martial uncle, big brother, the 4 swordsmen greeted. When the 4 arrived, The eyes of the 800 Qi Jing practitioners lit up. Did someone come to find Yang Chuan? This was different from before. It's good that you're here, Yang Chuan said calmly. Have you found the place? Don't tell me you don't remember the way back. The three swordsmen laughed. Of course we know. Just follow us. The four swordsmen laughed. As soon as the four swordsmen finished speaking, all the sounds of birds, beasts, insects, and fish disappeared. The 800 Qi Jing practitioners who were whispering to each other also became quiet. Everyone's spirits were suddenly shaken. The place. Where? The white-clothed lady with the blue phoenix pulling the carriage? Yang Chuan asked the four of them to find the place. We guessed right. If we follow Yang Chuan, we will definitely find the Tian level skill. We didn't wait in vain. The surrounding practitioners started to discuss again. At the same time, their eyes were filled with hope. The sudden change in the environment surprised the four swordsmen. What? Did I say something wrong? The four swordsmen asked. You didn't say anything wrong. Yang Chuan laughed. Peng tilde 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 tilde. Above the lake, a pillar of water shot out. A 10-meter-long azure crocodile soared into the sky. However, a spear pierced through its abdomen. The one who came out of the water after that was the slightly injured Hua Guang. Peng. The crocodile was thrown onto the shore. Hua Guang was the first to jump onto the shore. Peng. 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 A large number of crocodiles jumped out of the water. A group of Jinyi army soldiers rushed out with their trophies. In the blink of an eye, there were 500 crocodile corpses on the shore. King, the mission is complete, Hua Guang said excitedly. Set up camp and eat. Yang Chuan nodded. Yes. The 3,000 embroidered uniform army soldiers quickly got busy. At this moment, the faces of the surrounding 800 cultivators stiffened. Stop to eat and rest again. Don't you know where the woman in white is? Go quickly. What would happen if she left? Although the Xiuzhe were anxious, there was nothing they could do. After all, Yang Chuan still needed to personally ask for the heaven-grade cultivation method. He could only wait. After setting up camp and cooking delicious food, Yang Chuan started to eat in the headquarters tent. Accompanying them were Hua Guang, Liu Jin, Zhu Jiansheng, and the 7 swordsmen. Uncle, there are already more than 800 Qi Jing warriors, aren't you worried at all? 6 swordsmen asked curiously. What are you worried about? Yang Chuan smiled. You're worried that they'll harm you. 6 swordsmen was confused. Will it? Why not? The 6 swordsmen were puzzled. Because they are not a single entity, I am safer. Yang Chuan laughed. Mutual restraint. The 3 swordsmen asked curiously. Yes. Moreover, if there is any danger, these 800 Qi Jing warriors will help. Hua Guang also laughed. Ah! Xiu. Just as everyone was talking, a stone suddenly shot into the tent. Dong. The stone hit Yang Chuan's table. Xiing. Xiing. The group of swordsmen pulled out their swords and looked at the stone in surprise. Yang Chuan looked at the stone and sneered, Someone is trying to assassinate me. Who? Hua Guang immediately stood up. Chapter 604. Yang Chuan nodded. Hua Guang acted as if nothing had happened and walked out of the tent with the wine. Outside the tent, there were many soldiers eating crocodiles. Brothers, the king asked me to give you a toast. Now that we are outside, there is no wine, so we will use meat as a substitute. Ha ha. Hua Guang laughed. Sir. Everyone stood up. Hua Guang held the wine cup in one hand and made a strange gesture with the other. The gesture was normal, but all the soldiers' pupils shrank. Long live the king! All the soldiers raised the meat and congratulated. While eating the meat, the soldiers chatted and divided into different groups. Inside the tent. Assassination? Martial uncle, how did you know? Zhu Jiansheng was surprised. This is a reminder from one of the 800 practitioners. Yang Chuan smiled as he looked at the pebbles on the table. Ah! Who? Zhu Jiansheng was curious. Who? How would I know? They helped me find out. We just need to be more careful. Yang Chuan laughed. Assassination? What should we do? The three swordsmen were worried. What are you worried about? Hu Guang is already there. Don't worry about them, let's continue eating. Yang Chuan laughed. Everyone was confused. Martial uncle is too carefree. Even if someone tries to assassinate him, he won't care. While everyone was eating, Hu Guang raised his cup and walked around the 3,000 soldiers. Some of the soldiers disappeared without them noticing. On a hill not far from the main tent, 20 Qijing assassins sent by Wei Chan were all staring at the main tent. Boss, I saw it. Yang Chuan is in the tent, one of them said coldly. There are 800 Qijing cultivators outside. There are 8-day sects Qijing cultivators in the tent. The others are not a problem, the leader said. 8-day sects Qijing cultivators are not a problem. The main thing is that there are 800 Qijing cultivators outside. They are all waiting for Yang Chuan to lead the way. If we assassinate him, won't they be angry? Angry? Whatever, we must complete the mission given by the alliance leader. We must rush into the tent. You 8 block the 8-day sect's Qijing cultivators. The 12 of us will attack at the same time and kill Yang Chuan. Once Yang Chuan is dead, we will retreat. It will be too late to save the 800 cultivators, the leader said. Boss is wise. We will escape after killing Yang Chuan. No one can stop us. Well, since it's confirmed, let's begin immediately. I'll count to 3, and we'll move out together. Yes. Whoosh .. 20 black figures instantly shot towards the central tent like 20 sharp arrows. They were so fast that the countless cultivators in the surroundings could not react in time. The 20 assassins arrived in front of the tent and were about to enter. Bang .. Suddenly, 500 rays of light shot towards the tent. 500 shooting sun arrows shot towards the 20 assassins. Ha! The 20 assassins' faces changed. Bang! The assassins spat out their chi walls one after another, and a powerful aura spread out. Bang! 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 The shooting sun arrows were blocked by the air wall, but the power of the 500 shooting sun arrows was enormous. When they hit the air wall, the speed of the assassins suddenly stopped. Some of the assassins were even knocked back by the force of the shooting sun arrows. Not good. The assassin leader's face changed. Shoot. Bang .. Chapter 605. With a clear target, the second volley of 2,000 shooting sun arrows exploded out. 2,000 streams of light, like a meteor shower, fiercely crashed into the air wall of the 20 assassins. Rumble. It was equivalent to a Qijing realm cultivator facing 100 shooting sun arrows. Although the power of a Qijing realm cultivator was not as strong as a Qijing realm cultivator, there were many of them. With the combined power of 100 shooting sun arrows, the power of the shooting sun arrows was comparable to a Qijing realm cultivator. The air wall around the 20 assassins shook violently, almost collapsing completely. We've been discovered. Not good. Someone cried out. Let's go. You want to leave? Shoot. Hu Guang shouted again. Peng tilde. This time, there were even more arrows. 3,000 arrows burst out almost at the same time. There were even more arrows than before, and they were even more ferocious. 3,000 rays of golden light shot out, bringing with them endless despair. They closed in on the 20 assassins. Originally, they looked down on the essence realm, but now, boom, the air wall exploded from the impact, and the remaining force of the rain of arrows unscrupulously struck the crowd of cultivators. Bang! Bang! The air wall exploded, and all the Xiozhi were heavily injured. Their long swords struck the rain of arrows, but there were too many arrows. How could he block all 3,000 arrows at once? The assassins were hit by the arrows and fell to the ground. Of the 20 assassins, 5 were dead, and the remaining 15 were covered in arrows. They were all at a loss as they looked at the group of elite realm cultivators in disbelief. Impossible, impossible, the leader said in disbelief. The 20 of them were assassins, yet they were all wiped out in the blink of an eye. I'm in the Qi realm, but they're in the Qi realm. Those guys are only in the essence realm. At this time, No one would sympathize with them. The 800 Qi Jing cultivators who had regained their senses were also glaring at the assassins. It was already merciful that they didn't teach them a lesson. Why would they pity them? At the same time, the 800 Qi realm cultivators were also looking at Hua Guang and the others in surprise. These days, the Jinyi army had only killed 2 or 3 Qi realm beasts, so the cultivators didn't think much of it. At this moment, he finally realized the true power of the Imperial Secret Army. 20 Qi state warriors. Take him down in an instant. Pierce his shoulder blades and tie him up, Hua Guang shouted. Yes. The soldiers replied. In the blink of an eye, 15 Qi Jing cultivators were tied up and brought to the main tent. In the central tent, Yang Chuan was still drinking and eating. Zhu Jiansheng and the 7 swordsmen looked at the group of Qi Jing warriors kneeling on the ground in confusion. Boss, try slapping me. The 3 swordsmen felt like he was dreaming. Slap. The great swordsman slapped the 3rd swordsman's face. Ouch, you really hit me. The 3 swordsmen's face immediately swelled up. Looking at his palm, the great swordsman said in a deep voice, "It hurts quite a bit." Looks like it's not a dream, boss, I'll fight you to the death. The 3 swordsmen said with grief and indignation. Zhu Jiansheng looked at Hua Guang in surprise. They are from the Life League. They are all in the Qi state. Are these Qi Jing warriors still the same group of mortals that he met a year ago? With 5 dead, the 15 Qi Jing warriors kneeled in front of Yang Chuan like prisoners. Yang Chuan, you better let me go now. Otherwise, the Life League will kill you like how we killed your father, one of the Qi Jing assassins said viciously. What did you say? Yang Chuan put down a piece of meat and said coldly. I said like how we killed your father. The assassin said again. Shush. A long spear came from behind and pierced through his heart. It was Hua Guang who killed him with a single spear strike. The 14 assassins who wanted to scare Yang Chuan suddenly changed their expressions. These people are crazy. Chapter 606. Qing Long arrives. Kill, kill, kill. The 100,000-strong army soon clashed with the disciples of the 5 sects. The 8,000 disciples of the 5 sects were at the Qi state level several times higher than the army. However, the advantage of the army lay not only in their power, but also in their overall strength. Once the shooting sun arrows were fired, even the strongest Qi state cultivators would have no chance against them. The army was well trained and their attacks were deadly. Help! Master, help me! The battle was a mess. The 8,000 disciples screamed in agony. The army had grown through fighting. Their spear techniques were invincible. The 8,000 disciples were killed one after another. 5 immortal state cultivators attacked Liu Gang out of hatred. Liu Gang hid in the array outside the Imperial Demon sect while King Yi and 2 other immortal state cultivators held on. In the distance, the disciples of the 5 sects suffered heavy casualties. The immortal state cultivators seemed to have lost their minds. Bastard! Bastard! The immortal state cultivators roared. 5 immortal state cultivators charged toward the army. Fire! Liu Jin said coldly. Bang! 10,000 arrows were fired at the 5 immortal state cultivators. Nearly 100 Qi state cultivators charged toward them. Most of the 100,000-strong army were immortal state cultivators, but there were too many of them. They were more than enough to kill the Qi state cultivators of the 5 sects. For a time, a great battle began. Ha 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 ha. Although Hua Guang was struggling bitterly, the situation was in his favor, and everything was in his favor. Drag it out, so be it. Mo Yi's eyelids twitched. All immortal state warriors, besiege Hua Guang. Capture Hua Guang and defeat the 100,000-strong army, Mo Yi shouted. Mo Yi's decision was correct. As long as Hua Guang was captured, the 100,000-strong army would surrender. Whoosh! The 10 immortal state cultivators quickly flew back to Hua Guang's battlefield. King Yi heaved a sigh of relief after the immortal state cultivators left. Master, quick! Help Hua Guang! Inform all the disciples of the demon-controlling sect to assist the 100,000-strong army, Liu Gang cried out anxiously. If Hu Guang were to die or be captured, then all his previous plans would be for naught. King Yi frowned as he looked at Liu Gang, his eyes filled with anger. If not for Liu Gang, how could the demon-controlling sect be so passive? Master, this disciple will accept any punishment. Please consider the survival of the Imperial Demon sect as the most important thing. After this battle, this disciple will offer a humble apology, Liu Gang said solemnly. King Wild Mu's face darkened. Junior brothers, let's go. King Wild soared into the sky. The other two Immortal State warriors also followed King Wild and charged toward the battlefield where Hu Guang was. Disciples of the demon-controlling sect, heed my command. Assist the army of 100,000 and exterminate the disciples of the 5 sects as soon as possible. King Yi Mu roared. Yes. The disciples of the demon-controlling sect answered. King Mui, you're courting death. Mo Yi scolded. Mo Yi was not the only one. Almost all the Immortal State warriors on Hu Guang's battlefield were glaring at King Mui. Ha 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 ha. Hu Guang laughed out loud. Bam! An energy blade slashed at Hu Guang's back. Suddenly, a wall of air appeared behind him to block the attack. Even so, the impact still left Hu Guang in a sorry state. Kill. King Mui had no choice but to go all out this time. He quickly harassed the Immortal State warriors. However, his opponents were too strong. 1 lower void stage cultivator and 18 Immortal State warriors were too strong. Hu Guang was constantly being suppressed. The old man in the Taiji Taoist robe even left a long scar on his chest. Hu Guang's spear danced more and more fiercely. Every time he attacked, it seemed like both sides would suffer. Chapter 607. Little brat, are you really that strong? The lower ethereal state old man was also shocked. How could Hu Guang still be able to struggle in such a situation? The old man was shocked by Yi Futian's strength. Was he really a Tier 1 Immortal State warrior? The battle lasted for an entire afternoon. King Yi Mu was covered in wounds, and the 2 Immortal State warriors were covered in blood. Hu Guang was the same. There were hundreds of wounds on his chest and back. However, Hu Guang was like a ferocious tiger that refused to admit defeat. Even if his defeat was certain, he was unwilling to admit defeat. Roar! Die! Hu Guang waved his spear crazily. The Immortal State warriors were about to win, but none of them could laugh. Less than 1,000 of the 8,000 disciples were left. The army of 100,000 had also lost their minds. Lord, you're buying time for us. Kill. For Lord, kill. Lord. The army of 100,000 was furious. They vented their anger on the disciples of the 5 major sects when they saw the battle in the sky. Chi State warriors could fly, but they couldn't fight in the air. Even the airflow created by Hu Guang's battle kept the Chi State warriors away. They didn't dare to shoot arrows for fear of hurting Hu Guang. Kill them all. Don't leave a single one of them alive. Kill them all. The soldiers' eyes were red as they vented their impatience. Senior brother, I can't hold on any longer, an Immortal State warrior from the Imperial Demon sect said in pain. You have to do it even if you can't. Continue to cause trouble. King Yi Mu said anxiously. Yes. The intense battle continued, and the blood on Hu Guang's body kept increasing. The 8,000 disciples of the 5 major sects were all killed. They looked at the sky anxiously. Almost everyone was looking at the battlefield in the sky. At that moment, no one noticed a green light shooting toward the carefree city. Whoosh! The speed of the green light was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived at the worry-free city. Furthermore, it used its fastest speed to reach the floating island of the worry-free city. Who's there? Protect Eunuch Liu. The soldiers instantly became nervous. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew, and 2 figures appeared in front of Liu Jin. Qing Long and Yi Feng. Stop! Liu Jin shouted. Her face lit up with joy. Mr. Yi, is our king back? Liu Jin exclaimed in surprise. Yi Feng nodded. Seeing Yi Feng nod his head, Liu Jin immediately revealed a look of wild elation. Great! My king is back. Our king is back. This is. Yi Feng turned his head to look at the sky. Senior Azure Dragon, please help Hua Guang quickly. Liu Jin immediately called out. Azure Dragon nodded and said, protect Yi Feng. As he spoke, Azure Dragon soared into the sky. Liu Jin looked around. All Qi Jing generals listen up. Protect Mr. Yi Feng with your life. Liu Jin shouted. Yes. The Qi Jing generals obeyed. Whoosh. Around Yi Feng, close to 100 soldiers suddenly surrounded him. They drew their bows to prevent any accidents from happening. In the sky, Hua Guang was suppressed by a group of experts. His face was red and his eyes were filled with unwillingness. Ha 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 ha, Hua Guang, you are at the end of the road. Surrender. Mo Yi said hatefully. 8,000 disciples, all dead. Mo Yi's heart was bleeding. At this moment, Mo Yi had made up his mind. Even if the Great Winged Heaven School wanted to punish him, he would bury the 100,000 soldiers and Hua Guang with him. Surrender without a fight. Bah, you think you're worthy? Hua Guang said hatefully as he withstood the tremendous strength of the group of experts. Chapter 608. Humph. Then he shall die. Elder, kill him. Avenge the disciples of the 5 sect. Mo Yi shouted. The inferior void stage elder nodded. Okay. Boom. Suddenly, a beam of azure light shot up into the sky. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard as a powerful force dispersed the group of overlords. Hua Guang was freed. Huh. Almost everyone's expression changed. A man in an azure robe suddenly appeared beside Hua Guang. King Wild was covered in blood, but he still flew to Hua Guang's side with 2 immortal state warriors. King Wild's eyes lit up when he saw the man in the azure robe. King Wild knew this man. He had met him once in the Feng Shui formation. It's him. Suddenly, a glimmer of hope flashed across King Wild's heart. Hua Guang, we are late. Qing Long said with a wry smile. Ha ha ha. You are not late. Just in time. Hua Guang laughed. Who are you? The inferior void stage elder asked. Qing Long ignored the elder and said to Hua Guang, I will stop this inferior void stage cultivator. You take care of these immortal state warriors. Qing Long sighed when he said this. He was able to cultivate so fast because he followed the Saintess and received merit from the Dazhao sacred ground. However, when he looked at Hua Guang, Qing Long realized that the speed he was so proud of was a disgrace. He still remembered that Hua Guang was only a mortal back then. How could he be so powerful now? According to the situation just now, Azure Dragon was sure that Hua Guang could block a group of Divine Realm warriors. No, Qing Long, help me take care of these immortal state warriors. I will deal with this inferior void stage cultivator, Hua Guang said with a glare. What? Qing Long was surprised. The injuries on my body were all caused by him. I want him to pay me back 100-fold, Hua Guang said with a fierce look in his eyes. Qing Long stared blankly at Hua Guang and finally nodded. Old man, give me your life. Hua Guang brandished his long spear, and suddenly, a huge spear aura rushed out. Just as Mo Yi and the others were about to help, a huge force suddenly struck them. It was Qing Long's palm. A dragon-shaped green light wave shot straight at Mo Yi. Mo Yi thought that Qing Long was just an immortal state warrior, so he thrust his sword at him. Boom! Mo Yi's long sword suddenly exploded, and the green light wave rushed towards Mo Yi's chest. Boom! An explosion resounded through the sky. Pu! Mo Yi spat out a mouthful of blood. He was sent flying. Qing Long's attack immediately suppressed the group of deity realm experts. Abyssal Realm? Are you at the Abyssal Realm? An immortal state warrior shouted in horror. Hua Guang had already embarrassed them, and now there was another Abyssal Realm warrior. Boom! Boom! Qing Long quickly attacked with all his strength. The group of immortal state warriors couldn't resist. Suddenly, blood spurted out of their mouths and they were sent flying. Some of them even fell from the sky. Shoot! Below, the army was waiting to attack. Even an immortal state warrior couldn't withstand 10,000 arrows at the same time, not to mention that he was seriously injured. The 3 immortal state warriors of the Imperial Monster Sect were all overjoyed. "We are saved, Sect Master, we are saved." An immortal state warrior was covered in blood and said excitedly. Below, at the Imperial Monster Sect, Liu Gang's face was full of joy, and the group of senior brothers behind him were also ecstatic. "Junior brother, we made the right bet." The senior brothers were excited. Liu Gang nodded and excitedly led the group of senior brothers to the floating island. When they were near, the army took precautions to bring Liu Gang to the floating island. "I am Liu Gang. Greetings to Eunuch Liu and Mr. Yi," Liu Gang said respectfully. Liu Jin looked at Liu Gang with a smile and said, "Liu Gang, you have contributed greatly in this battle. I will report this to the king." "Eunuch Liu, you are too polite. This is what I should do. When the King of Hell was still in Carefree City, he once asked me if I wanted to be an official. Although it was just a passing remark, I remembered it in my heart. I have always wanted to repay the King of Hell for valuing me. Now that I have this opportunity, how can I not do it?" Liu Gang said politely. Yi Feng looked at Liu Gang. Naturally, he could tell that Liu Gang was here to surrender, or to win fame. However, Yi Feng didn't say anything because Yang Chuan had been paying attention to this person for a long time. "Liu Gang, haha, you have done well this time. The king will not treat you unfairly. Don't worry, I will put in a good word for you in front of the king," Liu Jin said with satisfaction. "Thank you, Eunuch Liu," Liu Gang said excitedly. Chapter 609. Day Sect. The sect was silent as the internal strife began. All the disciples had gathered at the foot of the main peak. Yang Chuan carried Miao on his shoulder and entered with Zhujian Sheng. Not long after, they saw a large number of disciples confronting each other. "Martial uncle, what's wrong?" Zhujian Sheng asked in surprise. Yang Chuan squinted his eyes and stopped. "There's a big mess in the sect," Zhujian Sheng said anxiously. "Miao, take out the 100 swords," Yang Chuan said to Miao. "Miao." Miao quickly took out 100 swords from her felt hat. "Zhujian Sheng." Yang Chuan looked at Zhujian Sheng. He handed over a map. "Martial uncle, what's this?" Zhujian Sheng asked in confusion. "Follow this map and place the 100 swords around the main peak." "Wait for my orders. I'll go to the main peak first," Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. "Yes." Zhujian Sheng nodded. Leaving Zhujian Sheng behind, Yang Chuan walked towards the main peak. Main peak, Great River Hall. "Mo Wuhui, do you really want to cause internal strife in Day Sect?" "Mo Wuhui, you don't have the qualifications to be the sect leader." "Feng Tianyu, you betrayed your master. How can you face your father?" In the Great River Hall, it was noisy. The Divine Realm experts who supported Mo Wuhui and Feng Tianyu were arguing. Why go through so much trouble? "Feng Tianyu, you and Mo Wuhui have a fight. The outcome is clear. Mo Wuhui doesn't have the qualifications to be the sect leader," a black-robed man behind Feng Tianyu said lightly. "Bastard, who are you? Hiding your head and showing your tail?" Jiao Bufan shouted coldly. The leader of the 20 black-robed men sneered, "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that Mo Wuhui is a cripple." "What did you say?" Jiao Bufan shouted. "How dare you?" Duan San Shu also shouted angrily. "Haha, Peak Master, I'll test it for you," Jiang Nan said with a sneer. Clang. Jiang Nan instantly pulled out his long sword and stabbed towards Mo Wuhui. Mo Wuhui stared coldly. Ding. Jiao Bufan instantly pulled out his sword and knocked Jiang Nan's sword away with a loud bang. "You're courting death, drawing your sword against the sect leader. You're deceiving your master and destroying your ancestors. San, Jiao, who are you trying to scare?" Sheeing. 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 In the main hall, a group of Divine Realm experts pulled out their swords. Just now, it was just a verbal quarrel. Now, because of Jiang Nan's recklessness, they were really at loggerheads. Sword chi surrounded both sides. For a time, the main hall was filled with sword chi. In some places, sword chi collided with each other, making a dull sound. In the main hall, a fierce wind blew. The leader of the black-robed men spoke again. Feng Tianyu, we can only do this much for you. Go and challenge Mo Wuhui. Let everyone see what Mo Wuhui is like. Let's see if he is qualified. Feng Tianyu's eyelids twitched. He grabbed the hilt of his sword. Opposite him, Mo Wuhui looked coldly at him. In the main hall, sword chi shot in all directions. A battle was about to break out. Bastard, what a disgrace. Suddenly, a loud shout came from the side hall. A powerful aura rushed out. The powerful aura suppressed the group of Divine Realm and Chi Realm experts. In fact, before that imposing aura, the crowd's sword auras were all forced back. Who? Jiang Nan asked in surprise. Chapter 610. Two angry old men slowly walked out of the side hall. Elders. When did you come back? Jiao Bufan and the others were pleasantly surprised. The people behind Mo Wuhui all looked happy, but the people behind Feng Tianyu all looked extremely unsightly. The two elders of the Dai sect. The aura of the two elders rushed toward Feng Tianyu and the others. The powerful suppression made the experts unable to resist. Emptiness realm? Lower emptiness realm? Jiang Nan exclaimed. The two elders walked over and looked at Feng Tianyu with bitter resentment. Tianyu, I watched you grow up. How did you become like this? Tianyu, are you going to destroy the Dai sect? How can you face your father? The two elders scolded Feng Tianyu in disappointment. Because he was Feng Tiran's son, the two elders took good care of Feng Tianyu. They didn't expect that Feng Tianyu would come to the Great River Hall to force them to abdicate. Feng Tianyu looked at the two and his expression became more complicated. He shook his head and said firmly, I didn't do anything wrong. I did it for the Dai sect. Bastard. Nonsense. The two elders glared at Feng Tianyu and their angry aura suppressed Feng Tianyu. It was as if they wanted Feng Tianyu to submit. The suppression of two lower emptiness realm experts was extremely powerful. Feng Tianyu's legs trembled, but he forced himself not to kneel down. HMPH, two old men. The leader of the black-cloaked men suddenly shouted. Boom. While speaking, the two black-cloaked men suddenly took out a large saber and slashed toward the two emptiness realm elders. After the two sabers slashed, the two elders realized that the situation was not good. It seemed that the situation was out of their control. They hurriedly raised their swords to block the attack. Boom. Boom. Two loud sounds came from the Great River Hall. A violent hurricane rushed out of the hall. The terrifying aura pressed down the mountain, causing the faces of the Dai sect disciples at the foot of the mountain to change. Ka. A large number of cracks appeared on the floor of the Great River Hall. The swords of the two elders were fiercely suppressed by the two black-cloaked men. The four of them were in a stalemate and couldn't move. Emptiness Realm Elders? You are also Emptiness Realm Elders? One of the elders couldn't move and shouted. Who are you? Who are you? Another elder asked in surprise. Among the 20 black-robed men, 2 of them were actually Emptiness Realm experts. Mo Wuhui and the others felt as if they were being suppressed by this terrifying aura. Feng Tianyu, what are you waiting for? The leader of the black-robed men shouted. Feng Tianyu, you traitor, an elder exclaimed. However, they were both Emptiness Realm experts. At this moment, the two elders could only remain in a stalemate, unable to intervene. Buzz. Feng Tianyu pointed his sword at Mo Wuhui, and a burst of divine realm aura rushed out. Boom. Mo Wuhui's body trembled as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Feng Tianyu's face darkened. Sect Master, what's wrong with you? Jiao Bufan exclaimed. Duan San Shu immediately stood in front of Feng Tianyu. Just his aura. Mo Wuhui couldn't take it and vomited blood. That's impossible. Everyone was surprised. When did Mo Wuhui become so weak? Scram. The black-robed man waved his hand. Rumble. Duan San Shu and the others, who were in front of Mo Wuhui, were suddenly lifted by a huge force. Moreover, they were fiercely suppressed by the powerful aura of the black-robed man. Another Emptiness Realm expert? Another Emptiness Realm expert? What did our Day sect do to deserve this? How did we attract so many Emptiness Realm experts? An elder shouted in shock. Chapter 6:11. The black-robed man held everyone back, leaving only Mo Wu Hui for Feng Tianyu. Feng Tianyu, attack. The leader of the black-robed men said. Feng Tianyu raised his sword again and looked at Mo Wu Hui. He shook his head and said, Mo Wu Hui, hand over the Tian Ce. Feng Tianyu's eyes flashed with anticipation. Impossible. I will never hand over the Tian Ce to you. Mo Wu Hui stood up with difficulty. At this moment, Mo Wu Hui looked extremely weak. You are pushing everyone in the Day sect to destruction, Feng Tianyu said with an ugly expression. Destruction? You destroyed it, didn't you? Mo Wu Hui's eyes were cold. Hand over the Tian Ce to me and the Day sect will be safe. You will all be fine, Feng Tianyu said in a low voice. Over my dead body. Mo Wu Hui's eyes were filled with hatred. Since that is the case, I can only sacrifice you. After killing you, the Tian Ce will naturally appear. Feng Tianyu's eyes revealed a trace of difficulty. Stop, Feng Tianyu, don't you dare. The two elders were anxious. Feng Tianyu, you bastard. Jiao Bufan and the rest shouted angrily. Mo Wu Hui did not resist but looked coldly at Feng Tianyu. Feng Tianyu's eyes were cold as he slashed his sword at Mo Wu Hui. No. In the main hall, those who supported Mo Wu Hui all shouted. Swish. At this moment, a black light suddenly shot into the main hall. The black light was extremely fast and appeared in the middle of everyone in an instant. Ding. The black light hit Feng Tianyu's sword and knocked it away. Hey! Everyone's expression changed as they looked at the black light. The black light stopped. It was a black sword. The sword floated in the air and emitted traces of evil qi. The black sword suddenly blocked in front of Mo Wu Hui and faced Feng Tianyu and the rest. Sword spirit? The leader of the black-robed men said in a low voice. Jade Emperor's sword? This is Yang Chuan's sword. Jiao Bufan's eyes lit up. At this moment, Yang Chuan stood at the entrance of the Great River Hall and slowly walked into the main hall. Swish. The Jade Emperor's sword instantly flew back to Yang Chuan. Greetings to Uncle. Yang Chuan, you are back. In the main hall, everyone around Mo Wu Hui. Yang Chuan's face was gloomy as he slowly stepped into the hall. Jiang Nan's eyes flashed with hatred. Ha 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 ha, you really walked right into the trap. Yang Chuan, you actually came back by yourself. The leader of the black-robed men laughed. Yang Chuan ignored him and walked to Mo Wu Hui. Looking at Mo Wu Hui, Yang Chuan's eyebrows twitched as a trace of uneasiness flashed through his heart. Vitality life? Yang Chuan actually couldn't sense any vitality from Mo Wu Hui's body. Was Mo's, Uncle Mo, and was he to woo Uncle Qi to Tianyi Tianyu? Yang Chuan quickly walked in front of Mo Wu Hui. He, Uncle Qi, yes uncle. Was elders. Looked. Haha. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Mo Wu Hui's body softened as he spoke. Yang Chuan hurriedly supported him. Uncle. Senior sister. The people around Mo Wu Hui immediately shouted. At this moment, the black-robed man seemed to have retracted his aura. Everyone surrounded Mo Wu Hui. You don't have any vitality. Why are you like this? Yang Chuan frowned. I was the one who killed her. I have already shattered her soul. I can't believe she could hold on until now. The black-robed man said coldly. What? Her soul shattered? Feng Tianyu frowned and looked at the black-robed man. Mo Wu Hui grabbed Yang Chuan and smiled bitterly. Do you know? I have been waiting for you to come back. I promised your father that I would help you become the sect leader. I promised the old sect leader that I would give you the Tian Ce. I thought I couldn't wait any longer. That day, he shattered my soul. I thought I was dead for sure. I didn't expect that I would be able to hold on for so long. You are back. You are finally back. Let me take a look. Yang Chuan was worried. It's useless. I can't be saved. You came back in time. I have no regrets. It has been 16 years and 83 days. I don't have to stay in this world anymore. I can go and see Xiao Dao. Mo Wu Hui smiled sadly. Chapter 612. It's useless. I can't be saved. You came back in time, so I have no regrets. It's been 16 years and 83 days. I don't have to stay in this world anymore. I can go and see Xiao Dao. Mo Wu Hui revealed a sad smile. Hearing Mo Wu Hui's words, Yang Chuan panicked. Although Mo Wu Hui had always been cold and aloof in the Great River sect, Yang Chuan knew that Mo Wu Hui had always been working hard to make him sit on the sect lord's seat. In other words, she had always misled others and made them think that she was always going against him. Senior sister, you'll be fine, Gao Bufan exclaimed. Sect leader. Everyone immediately cried out. Mo Wu Hui smiled miserably. My heart is already dead. Living on is also a torment. Feng Tairan asked me to keep this heavenly policy for you. Mo Wu Hui flipped his hand and took out a golden scroll. Tian Si. With a wave of her hand, the Tian Si unfolded, revealing lines of words. Day Sect, bestowed by the heavens. Sect leader, Mo Wu Hui. Peak master of Heaven Peak, Yang Chuan. Peak master of Earth Peak, Mo Wu Hui. Peak master of Black Peak, Feng Tianyu. Peak master of Yellow Peak, Gao Bufan. At this moment, the group of black-robed men didn't seem to be in a hurry as they stared at the Tian Ce. Jiang Nan looked at Yang Chuan with hatred. Feng Tianyu's expression was complicated. The Tian Ce unfolded, revealing lines of words. Mo Wu Hui smiled slightly and waved her hand. The words on the Tian Ce suddenly disappeared. Rumble. The merit pool in the sky above the Day sect trembled violently and then rushed down. The pond of merit, which was as vast as a golden cloud, rushed into the great river hall in the blink of an eye and went straight into the heavenly policy. The front of the Tian Ce was blank, but there was a golden cloud. The golden cloud gradually condensed and a golden yang word appeared on the Tian Ce. Yang. Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. When your father obtained the Tian Ce, the initial seal on the Tian Ce was only the word Yang. When Feng Tairan obtained it, he could have added a second seal, but he didn't. Do you know why? Mo Wu Hui smiled weakly. The Tian Ce, God bestowment stratagem, is a gift from the heavens. Only the first-generation possessor can use it to advance. Once the first seal is engraved, the possessor will be the first-generation possessor. Once the second seal is engraved, it means that the possessor has changed. In the future, the possessor will have to work 10 times harder, Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. It's good that you know. This is only the first seal, and it's not finished yet. You can carve Dao or Chuan on the back. To you, this Tian Ce is no different from the Tian Ce you just got. Mo Wu Hui said weakly. Yang Chuan was silent for a while. Feng Tairan said that this Tian Ce was obtained by your father. That year, in order to save the Day sect, your father committed suicide in front of the crowd. The Day sect was ashamed of him, and did not have the right to possess this Tian Ce. He told me that no matter what, I must give it to you. You can decide how to deal with it. Mo Wu Hui said weakly. After receiving the Tian Ce, Yang Chuan's eyes became slightly moist. I'm leaving. I beg you, okay? Mo Wu Hui's body trembled as he said. Say it. Yang Chuan took a deep breath and said. Let me be buried beside your father's grave. I beg you. Mo Wu Hui grabbed Yang Chuan's arm and trembled. With his eyes slightly moist, Yang Chuan nodded solemnly and said, okay. After getting Yang Chuan's agreement, Mo Wu Hui's face immediately bloomed with a beautiful smile. His hands softened and he closed his eyes. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.